Yeah. Let's go ahead and get you guys in the building. Oh, and there's one last person left. Let's go ahead and push the website, mytsports.net. That's M as in Mike, Y as in Yankee, T as in Tango, sports.net. Let's go ahead and start the show since now that you know where the podcast is at. And you know what? If you're watching, you'll never have a problem to find out where it's at ever again. Ain't not to dread, yo.
Okay. Big man, you want to hear some hot takes? Let's see how woke you are. You know something about podcasts? Dígame. You kidding me or what, man? I got these 3 drunk uncles with a sports podcast. They say they got fire takes, pure fuego. You find them wherever you listen to podcasts at. If it's what they say it is, you like and you subscribe. Listen, like, and subscribe, yeah. You know how to call into the show?
Did you just move?
Yeah, man. Do the Podbean app. You'll need headphones with a mic to call in. That's no problem, man. They'll also be at Sharky's, 8:07 p.m. on the first Wednesdays of the month. You may get some free Blue Chew. And they keep receipts or so. If anything happens in the sports world, MyT's gonna drop a take faster than a rabbit gets fucked. There's only 3 things I have in this world. My word, my balls, and this podcast. And I don't break them for nobody. MyT Sports Season 7. Shit.
Friday, and welcome back to another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Donald My Taylor. Yo, it is another Fuego day in the hottest city in the world as we record to you live and direct. We're on the outskirts of Miami, Florida, folks. It is February 4th. They said we had highs of 85, lows of 72, folks. It was light blue skies, miniature clouds. They looked fluffy like little miniature marshmallows. My high ass just wanted to pluck them out the sky like, You are officially listening to Season 7, Episode 59, Excerpt 392 of the where's that? Of the New shit. Okay, we gotta go this way. MyT Sports Podcast. There we go. I gotta figure out how this goes, like this backwards shit. Right? We right here, ain't it? MyT Sports Podcast. Folks, and do we have another big show for you today? Now, in case you guys are wondering, right, that guys, the people that are watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter, if you guys have been watching for some time, folks, yes, we have a new background, we have a new surrounding, folks. We got something a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more popping. Yeah, we lighten up the colors. We got rid of that. We got rid of the basketball court. I mean, we don't want a basketball here, but you see, I keep my Knicks shit with me. I'm not a Mets fan, but I keep my Knicks shit with me. You see all this orange and blue that I'm bleeding today. Ooh! I'm telling you, we got a show for you today. It's 9:07. I'm sorry, we just started. We are an hour late. I know we're supposed to start at 8:07-ish. I have to remind you guys, when you read the time of the podcast, it says 8:07-ish. We are heavy on our ish. We be heavy on our, especially if you try to catch us live. I do apologize. I apologize. But let's get into what we got to talk about today, folks. We got a Ben Simmons update. We got a broke Ben Simmons update for you guys. Obviously, we have the what the fuck with the name change, right? Or the what the fuck with the new name, the WTF with the new name. You know what we call them. We got some felony wrestlers out there. We have the trade deadline. We have Julius Wactavius Randall being part of the Unfollowed. We have New York Giants management that we want to get into. We may do a little bit of chill or no chill burr, right? We're gonna get into a little bit lighter. We're gonna get into some lighter side of sports. We're also gonna talk about Harborough and his dough. We're also gonna talk about Joe Burrow and his glow. We're gonna talk about injury-prone LeBron, and we're also gonna give you a Blue Chew promo code as well. Did I get that early? Ooh. baby, baby, baby. Okay, you know what? Before we even go any further, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna make sure I have that Blue Chew promo code ready for you guys, because I definitely want to make sure that you guys get your order of Blue Chew for free on me whenever we give it away here on the MyT Sports Podcast. But let's go ahead and get right into the podcast. I know you guys may not know this, or if this is your first time here, we like to start off every single podcast with a birthday party, folks. Yeah, we get a little birthday celebration up in this yeah. We are not alone. So, folks, let's go ahead and get our birthday shout-outs in the building. Yeah, because, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. Check it, yeah. This ain't your regular average birthday song. This ain't one of those birthday songs that's been around for years and years that you grew up singing since you was a kid. Nah, this ain't that one, because those songs are copywritten. So we made up our own birthday song here on the MyT Sports Podcast. If this is your first time, go ahead and listen. It's not hard for you to catch on. If you've been here before, go ahead and sing along. Cause yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. Check it, yeah, because it's your birthday, we sing happy birthday. Check it, yeah, check it, yeah. Folks, this is really weird. This doesn't happen very often, right? But every once in a while, we catch a few phenomena. Something like a phenomena. Get your head sprung. Gotta get your head sprung. Right? We had no birthdays that I knew personally, right? But as you guys know, folks, we are the unofficial podcast of Rock Nation Sports, or the official podcast of Rock. We're somewhere in between official and non-official, right? We're a little official, right? Well, everybody sitting us the referee on that shit. We got our whistle. We that kind of official, right? Yeah, I keep a bloodstone on me. Yo, Rocky. Hey, Mitch. No, it wasn't Mitch. Hey, Father. Can I get your blessings? Yeah. Thank you, Father. I think now I'm gonna win. Yeah. Right, but what we do have, right? No, we got no personal birthdays. We do have a birthday for one Rock Nation Sports own Ian Lewis, age 19, from the Miami Marlins baseball circuit club, I should say. Now I know you guys know that we do a Rock Nation Sports report, but we had to get the birthdays out of the way. That's the only one that we got. So to Ian, you want to say happy birthday. Hope you party hard. Hope you enjoy everything. We hope you regret nothing. But more importantly, if this is beyond your time, go look it up. But we want you to get your weekend at Birdie's on and continue to stay MyT. Yeah. Hey, DJ MyT, do me a favor and cut that beat. There we go. I don't know if we got any of the drunk uncles in the building as of yet. I know that they're gonna slowly make their way in. We got our drunk uncle out of Cleveland, Chillville. We got a drunk uncle out of Canada, which is SB. You understand? We got two local drunk uncles. Yeah, you understand? One's our Brooklyn correspondent. The other one's our Pittsburgh correspondent. In New York Jets a little bit. What's going on, Cobby? Looking like Bobby Wood, a K, Obby. Oh. Yeah, I'm sipping my little drinky drink. You guys don't even know. You guys don't even know. We back at it like a sports fanatic. Woo! Let's start talking. All right. Also, bring that beat back. Actually, bring that beat back for me. Right? Because we do have one very special birthday today. Shugs, by any chance, do you happen to know that on this day in Black history, whose birthday it is? I'll give you... Close. Because it is a woman. I'll give you a hint.
Rosa Parks.
Yes! There we go. It is Rosa Parks' birthday today. day, folks. So we want to give so on this day in Black history, we would like to say happy birthday to Rosa Parks. As you guys know, Rosa Parks happens to be one of the key individuals that was responsible for the Montgomery bus boycotts. She is considered the first lady of civil rights and the mother of the freedom movement. Basically, to give you a history lesson, and if you don't know by now, Rosa Parks was basically the first recognized individual, right? Obviously part of the movement as well, close with Dr. King, all kind of the stuff. Also help, you know what I mean? Also help with a little bit of the underground shit. But when a Caucasian individual came to her back in those openly lawful racial days, right? Somebody told her that she needed to move to get up her seat and give it to some other white dude, and she was like, yeah, nah, I've been working all night, like my feet hurt, I'm not going to the back of the bus, because that's where all black people were saying that they needed to go sit. And she was like, nah, I'm not doing that, partner, like, you gonna have to move me, like, we shall not be moved. And because of that, she got arrested, that shit got out to the whole entire black nation, you understand, the whole entire, I wish you guys could say this, but this ain't for your eyes. This ain't for your eyes. This is for the fans only page. This is for the fans only.
Hey, that little ball in the fridge. What is that?
Little ball in the fridge.
There's 2 balls. I ate one.
Balls?
A yucca. Hey, balls.
I don't know where those balls from the fridge came from. I'm glad you're enjoying balls because, you know.
And they ain't your balls.
Oh. I don't like it when you talk like that. Alright. But what would we say? Like, so word got down to the whole entire, you know, the whole Black Panther movement, the whole entire squad. Next thing you know, everybody's boycotting the buses suddenly. And they're like, okay, how you gonna make that bread if we boycotting the bus? We ain't gonna take it, we ain't gonna drive it, we ain't gonna do nothing. You have to catch me outside, homie. You gonna stand out there, you gonna walk to work, or you gonna be late, or you not gonna make it. That's tell you what happens when we affect everybody's pocket and we shut down commerce. So like I said, that was a big part of the civil rights movement. And that was started all by her refusing to give up her seat. We recognize her to this day to the utmost respect, to the point where she should have even been on a monetary note in the United States, but that hasn't quite gone through as of yet. And if she would have done that, she would have been one of 2 individuals to be on money and not be a president in the United States, that is. That's it. So, also, I want to say happy birthday to Rosa Parks. You know, we can't say our usual spiel of party hard, enjoy everything, regret nothing, and continue to stay MyT. But what I will tell everybody that knows about Rosa Parks and has benefited from her fight and from her actions, I do want to tell all you guys, don't ever stop fighting for that little bit of inch that you believe that you deserve, and always continue to stay MyT. Now let's move on, right? It's always kind of hard, like, to transition from stuff like that. But we start off every podcast with representing our fandom, and as you guys can see from everything here, I have a lot of orange and blue in the air. Cause that could only mean one thing. Don't you fear? That means that Knicks talk. That Knicks talk is here. DJ, MyT, drop that beat. As it goes, folks, the New York Knicks. I don't know what to say. You know, we got that Knicks talk. You know, we stay with that Knicks talk. And right now, that Knicks talk is looking kind of bleak. Because when it comes to that Knicks talk, there's some words that I'm telling you right now that I shall not speak. The last game that the New York Knicks played, they played against the Memphis Grizzlies. The next game that they're going to play is going to be against the Los Angeles Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers, we just finished watching ended up watching their game. That was a close, exciting game that they lost to the Los Angeles Clippers. Well, go on, sis. Miss Sia. This Simmons. And they lost to the Los Angeles Clippers. So they're gonna be. So they may be coming for a little bit of revenge. They may be focused. A couple of things happened in that Los Angeles Lakers and Los Angeles Clippers game. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about that on the lighter side of sports. We won't get too much into that right now. What we will get into is our New York Knicks. They lost their last game against the Memphis Grizzlies, dropping their record to 24-28, keeping them at 5th in the division. And you looking like a real Knicks fan. I am a real Knicks fan. You should go watch me on YouTube or Facebook or thing, and you should and really see this and really see the background. I did a little change up. You think I look like a Knicks fan? You should see how the outlay is, the layout. New hair, don't care, not at all. Look at that. Oh shit.
That's his fake laugh.
I'm laughing, talking to Sis over here.
Oh.
Me and Sis was having fun. So the New York Knicks, it's not even on you. It's only on me. Stop it. See, look, only on me. Now they can see you fully. There you go. You gotta see her back. Yeah, stop leaning on the chair, please. Thank you. Wow. What is this? It's only for the OnlyFans. What are you doing? You see this, Sis? What is going on? Alrighty. So, New York Knicks, they dropped their last game to the Memphis Grizzlies, 120-108. This is a game that they were not even in the mix of. That record would drop them to 24-28. Like I said, it didn't change their position in the division or in the conference. They're still 5th in the division and they're still 12th in the conference. As it currently stands right now, they are not in the play-in. They are not in any form of postseason contention right now. The New York Knicks are at a point where they are. Not only does it seem like they are desperate for some kind of change, some kind of injection or spark of energy, but so are the fans. And I know I'm not just speaking for myself, but so are the fans. I hear them talking every single day. Every time they talk their Knicks talk, every time they talk their talk, I hear their talk. That's why I come here. That's why we do this. And they are ready for they're ready for a change in New York. They are fed up, as most people are. They are fed up with the play of all these veterans. Right? What more are you gonna see from them? What more are you gonna hurt or help their cause if you play them less for some of these young guys at this point in time? Like, what are you showing off? Everybody knows what the fuck they are. Right now, what all you're showing is that they're guys that can't be part of a main part of a team and be part of a winning record. Now, part of the frustration is because of how well the New York Knicks did last year. Again, this isn't far off pace from what we were last year. And if this was the year coming off of the 17 and 22 win seasons, this will be looking pretty promising. Remember, this is supposed to be a long stretch. This is only year 2 in a process, and we just happened to catch lightning in a bottle in year 1. This game against Memphis, like I said, it was never close for the Knicks. Memphis Grizzlies, they came out leading and they led the whole entire way. They never really, usually the New York Knicks are able to fight and able to close out a 20-point lead and get back into a game. This wasn't one of those cases. RJ Barrett, even though the New York Knicks lost, he happened to have a decent game. A decent game is me saying that he is scoring again anywhere between basically above 22 points a game. If he can start giving, that's what I've been saying, between 22 to 24, which basically means I want 23 points a game. But let's just say I want above 22 points per game off of him. And he gave us 23 points last night. Evan Fournier caught fire. He dropped 30 points. Julius Randall shot 7 for 18. And I don't want to say that he struggled because RJ Barrett didn't do any better, but he struggled. Julius Randall 7 for 18. He put up 18 points. 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, 3 for 5 from the free throw line. 12 rebounds, 9 assists. His numbers were well. His attitude is still shitty. Right? And I don't. And we'll come back into the Knicks. Right? Let's talk about a little bit about what Memphis did though, because we have a love fest about Memphis, and it isn't just a love fest with Memphis, right? It's about it's with Ja Morant and everything that he does. Right? We this is one of those rookies that he came in the same rookie class as our rookie as our rookie RJ Barrett, and since day one we have been infatuated with him. Right? We've been intrigued with him, with his play, that is. Right? And we find I've been finding any reason whatsoever to go ahead and watch him play in a game. And Ja Morant did not disappoint. I was hoping he would go for 40. He took 27 shots. Like, let's not for nothing. Like, he took 27 shots, made 9 of them. That's 33% from field goal. But he also added 23 points, going 5 for 8 from the free throw line. He could have shot better, 0 for 6 from the 3-point range, right? But even though he did that, he is just so dynamic that even when he struggles like that, it's exciting, it's explosive, it's collapsing the defense. It's good passes out of double teams. He only had 2 turnovers, even though he also not 2. Yeah, he only had 2 turnovers, but he also only had to add to his 9 assists. So while it looks like he plays at a breakneck speed, it's basically controlled chaos. It's organized fury at its finest. It's the only OF I watch. Is his organized fury. Like I said, I was really hoping like Ja Morant took enough shots where he could have dropped 40. He just didn't do it. Like, he just didn't do it. Like I said, struggled from the line a little bit. But they played enough and they played well enough and they did enough to make sure that they won and they won decisively. I'm gonna go ahead and put a game on in the background. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go Brooklyn Nets and Brooklyn Nets versus Utah Jazz. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, earlier today we was watching that Lakers and Clippers game. When we first started off the podcast, we was watching the Charlotte and Cleveland game. I did not get a chance to see the end of that game, but I do know that when I last saw that Cleveland was winning by about 10 points. So I'm gonna assume that they closed out that game. As it currently stands right now, the Utah Jazz is beating the Brooklyn Nets 23-12. We'll get into some Brooklyn talk while we finish. As soon as we finish with this Knicks talk, right? Because both New York teams are struggling, but only one of them, even though there's been speculations for trade talks for both of these teams. As the trade deadline, folks, is just a week away, folks. It's on February 10th. Right? And on that same day, February 10th, is when we'll also have the All-Star Game Draft. We'll go ahead and talk to you about which individuals were finalized a little bit later in the show, probably in the second hour. Let's actually talk Knicks. Let's actually talk Knicks for a second here, right? The New York Knicks. Damn, they can't be able to hear me. I wonder. Shugs, if you have your phone, can you go on podbean and let me know if you can hear me? Okay. You know Podbean be acting up. Podbean be giving me side. New York Knicks have several problems that we've been outlining throughout. What's going on, Boogie Nights? They have several problems that we've been outlining for basically all season, right? Due to their lack of effort. Not only their lack of effort, but
shit, that's a new phone. I gotta download it.
But the inability to hold on to a lead, right? The inability to play consistently, to win consistently, just be consistent basically from quarter to quarter, and if not from game to game. All right, the New York Knicks, even the Brooklyn Nets, right? They both have a problem, but only the New York Knicks have a problem where their star player has unfollowed the team. Yes, folks. Julius Wactavius Randall, which is his new last name for us. Julius Wactavius Randall has unfollowed the New York Knicks on social media. Now, if you're listening, I really have one question for you as a fan. What would you make if your star player unfollowed your team on social media? Not, oh, I'm going dark on social media because people like me is adding him and talking about his bad attitude and his bad play all the goddamn time. You know what I mean? You know, every time that he pops on there, there's all kinds of negativity coming his way. Like, so, if you're not following the team anymore, like, he didn't just go dark. He's like, yo, I'm not following you. You can hear me great. Okay, thank you. Thank you, baby. You're the best. I love you. Shada Dumpling, I love you. Sugar dumplings. So, if you're not following the team, is that the equivalent or the new way of teams telling people or individuals telling teams, hey, you know what? I don't want to play for you anymore. Is that the new way of passive aggressive behavior of asking for a trade? Like, I want to know. Because Julius Randle not following the New York Knicks, that kind of don't sit right with me. And I want to know, does it sit right with you Knicks fans? And I want to know if it sits right with any fan out there of any team. Gotta make sure that's not work. I'll be over here doing the podcast, and the next thing you know, I look up and I'm like, oh shit, I done missed the opportunity to make money. Nah, I'm not skipping those, but them shits be cute. But see, that's why I need another alert. Like, my phone needs instant offer sites now listed in the learning portal. Okay, whatever. Don't gotta care about that. Like, I need a whole different sound for my Amazon Flex. Like I need a cha-ching or some shit like that, but it won't let me give an individual sound. I'm gonna have to like download a custom like ringtone make or individual something that lets you assign custom ringtones to every single individual app, so that when something comes on, I know who the fuck you is. So that every time something's on, I gotta be like, hey, who the fuck is you? Hey, who the fuck is you? Hey, who the fuck is you? And Bitcoin just surpasses the US dollar. US dollar 41,000 again. Bitcoin is up 11% in the past 24 hours. Start building your with as little as $1. See, I'm an asshole. I have not invested anything significant into Bitcoin as of yet. But trust me, I got my account. And as soon as I can I can get things stabilized a little bit more again, then I'll be there. Then we can start that whole new portfolio. But right now, we're still working on some things. Things are still a little bit choppy, and I'm still working on some things. The year is new and the year is young. But the NBA season is old, and we're about 60% through. Trade deadline, like I said, is about 6 days away, and the trade deadline is going to come right before the All-Star break, in a sense. Actually, All-Star break is about 20 days away. Right? It's about 10 days after that. But it comes a little before the All-Star break. So you're going to see a couple of teams make some moves. You're going to see a couple of players get some new homes. But even though there's a bunch of names in trade talks for the New York Knicks, and most New York Knicks fans want Julius Randle out, I don't think anybody thought that he was going to unfollow the team and basically passive-aggressively ask for a trade. Because let's not forget, and I think this was what happened, right? You know what they say, how quickly we forget? Oh, how quickly we forget that Julius Randle wasn't supposed to be here this long. This is his 3rd year as a New York Knick. We didn't like him 4 years ago before he got here. We didn't like him 3 years ago when they got him. We didn't like him 2 years ago at the beginning of the season. We fell in love with him through the season, and then this year we expected the same from him. But you know what happened? Muscle memory. I always say this, damn, my muscle memory kicked in. My muscle memory kicked in. You know when you driving somewhere and all of a sudden you catch yourself taking the wrong turn down the street? We're like, damn, why did I go this way? Oh, this is the way I normally go to work, but I was trying to go to the supermarket. But I took a left turn on Albuquerque instead of a right. That's your muscle memory kicking in. When you're a little bit tipsy and you're blacked the fuck out and you get home all safe, everything's parked, you come home, you done cooked, you done cleaned, you know what I mean, everything looking all spick and span, you done folded up everything, you're like, damn, I did all that shit. Muscle memory, autopilot, or as you hear me calling it. I call that one autopilot. But that's your muscle memory kicking in. Tom Thibodeau, he wants to play the young guys, but he got a little bit of success last year playing Julius Randle and Derrick Rose. So now all he wants to do now is go back to playing veterans instead of the young guys. Muscle memory. Julius Randle, he was a productive player last year. His spin move was actually effective, even though he was doing the same shit. But now he's back to being just a hurricane warning. I'm gonna huff. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He's not a hurricane warning. He's the big bad wolf outside of a cement house. I'm gonna huff, and I'm gonna puff, and I'm gonna blow your house down. And does nothing. Well, I love you too, boo. Love you too. Thank you for liking and sharing the podcast. And don't you guys also remember, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as well. Right, don't forget, you can find us everywhere. As you can see, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Podbean, TikTok, and also on Twitch. You can't really find the podcast on TikTok. You can just find me on TikTok. And some of my sport shit, you know what I mean? Like, ain't none of these words on. Yo, somebody help me out, right? Somebody tell me, because it could be me at my age at this point in time, right? Because I know it's hard for you guys to be able to gauge age sometimes, right? Especially when it comes to black people. But I'll go ahead and flat out tell you.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Alright, so I think because of my age, I don't know how to work TikTok properly, because TikTok ain't really meant for people like me, right? But what I want to know is, how do I go live on TikTok? That's what I want to know. Like, do I need a certain amount of subscribers? Do I need subscribers? I want it better. I need subscribers to get my likes up. Do I need subscribers? Or do I need to get past a certain amount of posts? How do I go live? I be seeing people going live while they're fixing their goddamn car, making fucking breakfast. How the fuck do I go live? So we can put this, so we can alternate between doing so we can alternate between doing Instagram live and TikTok live, because TikTok live is getting you easy follow. Yo, you just gotta scroll. Next thing you know, they see the sports podcast. Bing bong, how you doing? Bada bing, bada boom. Realest podcaster in the room. How you doing? Know what I mean? But back to Julius Wactavius Randle. Yes, folks, that is the new last name that we have. I don't know. I know we've given him a bunch of last names in the past, but we have now given him an official middle name. And his official middle name is Wactavius. His name is Julius Wactavius Randle. Julius Wactavius Randle. And Julius, Mr. Wactavius, is actually, you know what? I just realized I really don't need to tell you anything much more about Julius Randle because I think you already know who Julius Randle is.
They are who we thought they were. If you want to crowd up, then crowd there. But they are who we thought they were. And we left them alone.
He is who we thought he was. He is the reason we drafted Obi Toppins. Which is why I don't understand why Obi Toppins isn't getting more minutes. More minutes. I understand Julius Randle looked good last year, but he's not looking good this year. And you have benched everybody else except for the two guys. You realize this? Tom Thibodeau, respectfully, to their earnings, has benched everybody that hasn't played up to par except for 3 individuals. And I'm going to go from the least most guilty to the most guilty. RJ Barrett has not been benched when he played bad, but he also hasn't consistently played bad. He had that one stretch after he came back from having COVID, but that was him working himself back into shape. He's had about one bad game every 4 games, so he's playing bad about now 25% of the times, maybe 33% of the times. And a bad game is when he has under 22 points, right? For right now, because I'm trying to get him to a certain threshold to look like these guys that he needs to look like. He look like a top 3 pick or a top 5 pick. Excuse me. So RJ Barrett hasn't been held accountable when he plays bad. He hasn't been sent to the bench when he has his bad play, but he may be the one guy out of this list that you're willing to really give that exception to. The other 2 guys, the only reason I can see is because of the money that they get. The only reason why they haven't hit the bench is because they have been paid like a well-known wench. The first culprit, Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier, for some reason, when Kemba Walker or Mitchell Robinson has been benched, we've seen a bunch of people go down. We see Deuce McBride get sent down to the G League. He goes to the G League. He drops 50 every other night. It's more like 30, 40. But he dominates every other night in the G League. That's good. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. Even if a guy to me isn't looking quite fully NBA ready, right? Or the coach still play with his minutes. You see him trying to pick up. He's a rookie though. You can still see him making some rookie mistakes, trying to pick up the NBA game here and there. There is one thing I would like to see you do though. When you go down to the G League, I want to see you dominate. Yeah, you should dominate. Because if you can't dominate in the G League, then you definitely ain't built for the NBA. Dominating in the G League means that, okay, you definitely don't belong amongst these guys. So let's now get you back amongst these stars and let you start sharpening your iron amongst these other, sharpening your steel amongst these other steels, sharpening your blade against these other blades. So like I said, we see Coach Tibbs holding everybody accountable, except for guys like Evan Fournier. But like I said, Evan Fournier got that big contract for 4 years, right? Can't bench him, can't sit him down, don't know why. The other one is, as we've been talking about, the biggest culprit of them all is Julius Octavius Randle. And the reason why I say he's the biggest culprit of them all because, see, Evan Fournier, we kind of always thought he was kind of sketchy up and down, right? You see, he played well for his international team, caught our eye, we was like, ooh. But his role is different. Rules are different. But Julius Randle, he's really scummish to me. And I'm going to tell you why I'm so hard on him. Because anytime, the only reason why you play well is because you're in a contract year, means that you don't deserve. Like, I know these guys bust their butts and they do this and they do that, but alright. I understand that they may go, that they bust their whole lives to get here, but when you get here, doesn't mean that you stop working. Once you secure that bag, doesn't mean you stop. I mean, I guess for some guys, I guess that's the case, but then, you know what? After these 3-4 years, don't be surprised if everybody sees the writing on the wall. This is the end of your NBA career. Because guys like that, I don't want to see play sports. I don't want to see them in the league, in any league that I'm watching. The guys that are only good when it's a contract year. So it means that they have it in them to give effort and be productive all the time. But they choose not to focus the way they need to focus because it's too hard. Except for that one time that they need a contract. And trust me, usually, and part of the reason why I'm so mad is because normally I'm really good at sniffing out that guy, right? Normally I'm really good at not falling for the, I'm only playing good because it's a contract year kind of shit. I normally don't fall for it. But this year I can say I fell for it a little bit. I fell for the whole Julius Randle, genjutsu, pull the wool over your eye kind of bullshit. But it's okay. He fooled us. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. If he fools us 3 times, we gotta say fuck the peace sign. We gotta pull out the chopper, let it rain on him. I'm gonna say we gotta cut him from the league. You can't get fooled for what it was by Julius Wactavius Randle. What's going on, cuz? If you want to get the full effect of the podcast, just I see you catching us on the behind the scenes camera through Instagram. You want to get the full effect of the podcast, you either watch us through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Twitch, or even on YouTube Live. If you'd like to call into the podcast, go ahead and download that Podbean app. That way you could join us through our Blue Chew Get In hotline. And don't worry, folks, we'll be giving you our Blue Chew promo code so that you too can also get yourself a free order of Blue Chew. So let's continue talking about the blue and orange Knicks, right? Because you guys know I bleed that orange and blue, as you can see. If you see what I see. So, as Julius Randle now has done what he's done and proved himself to not be the most improved player, to not be an all-star, to not be the main guy on the team, to not be worthy of his contract extension, to not be worthy of any of that, right? It looks like now he wants to trade, and you know what? Fine, let's do it. Listen, nobody wants you out of New York faster, Julius Randle, than every single one of the 52 million people that occupied New York, and also the other 150 million fans that the New York Knicks have spread across the globe. Nobody wants to see you out of New York faster than us. Please, if there was anything holy in sports, trade Julius Wactavius Randle within the next 6 days. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what the fuck you get back for him. I don't care if we get back the Chicago Bulls mascot. Please trade him away. I beg of you. Now, there's been other names that are now popping up in trade talk. Not just names from our team, but also names from other teams. Let's go ahead and bring that in here just a little bit and mix that into our Knicks talk, You guys are familiar with the usual suspects. Hold on. Shoot. Ooh, shit. Excuse me. Right? You guys are familiar with some of the usual suspects. We've brought these names up to you before already. One of the names that I don't want to trade for, but I do want to get this individual on our team. I just think that we need to practice patience. That kind of patience that we should have practiced with Carmelo Anthony. That kind of patience. Ooh. Allergies going off. You know what I'm about to do? I'm about to take an allergy pill. Which means that definitely within about an hour and a half, if I'm not done with this podcast, I'm done with this podcast. If you know what I mean. So, the usual suspect, one of them is one Jalen Brunson, right? Now, you guys are familiar with Jalen Brunson. He's the point guard out of Dallas. And Jalen, he's a good point guard. I don't know if he's a point guard that you may want to trade real assets for unless we're offloading, right? So, if we're getting Jalen Brunson, and granted, you're not going to hear me say this for a lot of trades because I want to be real, because I like to stay realistic. But if you're going to trade for Jalen Brunson, then you better be trading him for one of those vets. I don't care which vet you trade him for, but it better be for one of those vets. And when I say it don't matter which vet, it really doesn't matter which vet. And there's a new veteran that's popped into trade talks. And I'm actually surprised that his name took so long to get here, since he's been probably the most productive out of all of the veterans that we've either signed or kept on and re-signed from last year. And that's Alex Burke. Alex Burke's name is popping up now in trade talk. And can I tell you something about Alex Burke? I think he's quirky. And I don't know how he's quirky, but I think he's a quirky dude. And I don't know anything about him. I just have that feeling about him. Like he has peculiar idiosyncrasies. Right? And my only evidence of that is because while his hair is always cut low, he never has a tape line. Like seriously, like yo. I know it's one of the weirdest shit like to probably think about. Because he's a half decent player, right? But he never really tapes up his shit. Like it's low always, but it's never shaped up. It's never cleaned up. Like so, I think he may be one of those guys with unique idiosyncrasies. I think that's the best way I can probably say it. But his name is actually popping up now in trades talk, and I'm not surprised. Alex Burke probably should have been one of the first names because Kemba Walker ain't doing shit for us to make himself valuable. Evan Fournier ain't doing enough consistent shit to make himself valuable. Nerson Noel can't stay healthy enough to make himself valuable. The only one who's really been there out of those veterans to really make themselves valuable is Alex Burke. And listen, like I'm really surprised at the first time his name has popped up. But like I said, if we're talking about getting Jalen Brunson, while I'm not a fan of trading away anything to really go and get Jalen Brunson, since this is his very last year in Dallas, and we could just pick him up as a free agent in the offseason, if it's for offloading purposes, because okay, hey, what's going on? I see everybody popping up on the pod through Podbean, which we like to use for for our call-in hotline. So if you like to call into the podcast, that is how you call it through the Podbean Blue Chew Get-In hotline. And don't forget, we'll be dropping that Blue Chew code for you a little bit later, so that you can order yourself a free order. You get yourself a free order of Blue Chew on us for free. So, like I said, I don't care what veteran you get rid of, because we kind of have to start getting some of these veterans out of there and bringing in usable young talent, free up space to use our young talent. So even if you have to get rid of a guy like Alex Burke, who may be the only one of those vets that I'm willing to keep, and obviously Derrick Rose, right? Is the only one of those vets I'm willing to get rid of. But whatever vet, if they want to take Evan Fournier for Jalen Brunson, go ahead and drop it. If they want Alex Burke, go ahead and drop it. They want Kimber, go ahead and drop him. Go ahead and give him up for him. Whatever they want, that's a veteran for Jalen Brunson. But if it's not one of those veterans, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. We can pick him up in the offseason. Now, there's other names now out there that now I'm willing to move some real pieces to go get. The first real piece out of all of them, we've talked about this already, and obviously we already know the contract matches up. That's Julius Randle, one De'Aaron Fox. Swipe or no swipey is consistently being talked about and tied into the New York Knicks. This isn't me. I can't get rid of it. I can't get away from it. I listen to the New York Knicks beat reporters, and they talk about it. I listen to the Sacramento Kings beat reporters, they talk about it. I listen to general NBA beat reporters, they talk about it. I listen to different California beat reporters, they talk about it. There is a major tie with De'Aaron Fox to the New York Knicks for Julius Randle damn near straight up. If they can. And I don't care. I'll throw in a couple picks if I have to. Go give them Dallas's pick. Shit. Or maybe something of a little bit more worthy. But I'm willing to give up whatever's necessary. Let me make sure this isn't money. I'm willing to give up something of significance to go ahead and get De'Aaron Fox. Now, as we said before, right, or you may have heard us say before, I hear a lot of names being mentioned. And anytime I hear names being mentioned, that kind of scares me. Because in the past, I know that the New York Knicks have been utilized just to boister trade talk, just to boister money, just to boister interest. Because when you tie yourself to New York, that shit gets globalized and it gets overhyped because of New York media, and it gets talked about everywhere. I told you, I can't run away from De'Aaron Fox and New York Knicks talk, which makes me believe that shit ain't gonna happen for some odd reason. Only because they won't stop talking about it. As we get an update on that Brooklyn and Jazz game, that's 66-44 for the Utah Jazz, folks. We're gonna talk a little bit about that game in a second, folks. Because I mean, both of these New York teams have been looking horrendous, and we can't stand none of it. We're from Brooklyn, and I grew up a Knicks fan, as you can see, and both of them are hurting my heart. Like the third of my heart that I reserved for the Brooklyn Nets, like that shit is hurting just as much as this Knicks shit is hurting. And they were supposed to be my solace. They were supposed to be that heating blanket underneath all of the covers that was supposed to help and comfort me and keep me warm on these cold nights. But they just as frigid. The one name that I'm consistently surprised that is not tied into the New York Knicks, and I'm not sure if I said this on Wednesday, and if I said this on Wednesday, I have no problem saying this again today, because the Wednesday shows at Sharky's, you really have to catch live. If you don't hear it live, I can't guarantee that you're going to catch a re-air of that show due to a lot of the copyright issues that I may face, because I'm in a bar, there's music and games and other things going on. I haven't until I find a reason, I haven't asked for a full command of the room yet. But I am gonna try to find a way to stream my podcast on one of their TVs, watch, and have them watch me while up there. You wait. I'm gonna stream this to one of their TVs. You just wait. The one trade talk that still surprises me that I haven't heard the New York Knicks at all talk about, and that's Ben Simmons. Now I know initially Knicks fans and New Yorkers are just thinking, are generally I'm gonna say sports fans, maybe thinking, well, if Ben Simmons couldn't handle Philly, what makes you think he's gonna handle? Hey, you know what? Hey, DJ MyT, do me a favor. Cut that beef for me, right? Cut that beef for me. Thank you. What makes you think that Ben Simmons is gonna handle New York? And remember, New York is as fickle as any fan base out there, right? And what I mean is that when you do bad, they're gonna boo you. When you do good, they're gonna cheer for you. Ben Simmons still has a lot of the traits that Tom Thibodeau is high on. And he does play a position that the New York Knicks have been starving to fill since I was a teenager. And I told you guys. I already told you guys.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
And they've been trying to do this since I was a teenager. This will fill that. A defensive, all-star, 6'9", athletic point guard. That if he's pushed hard enough, may be able to close out some of the deficiencies. Close it out some of the deficiencies in his game. Or some of the deficiencies in his game that he is self-conscious about. Because being self-conscious never really helps. It's really a very slow internal parasite that constantly eats away at you and drains you of all of your natural body nutrients or bodily essence. It stops you from being you. And he has that. And Ben Simmons he suffers from a little bit of that. Please make it be something useful. Don't talk about it. Okay. Nothing useful? Oh. You're saying that you know that you won't talk about it. Gotcha. So, I still get surprised that Ben Simmons is not the name that we're talking about. And maybe he's just not...
Happy Valentine to me.
I was just about to say the same shit, homie. Yo! That's... Somebody gonna be facts.
Oh, yeah.
Word.
Oh, yeah, that's the rich lady.
Word. Word. Be happy over here. I'm gonna get some booty. I'm gonna get some booty. I'm gonna get some booty.
He's lying.
All right, so let's continue. So, and I'm not sure why. Okay, so I'm not sure why such tight lip on Ben Simmons. That's why it makes me bring up Ben Simmons, right? Because they've been so tight-lipped about it, or there's been no talk about Ben Simmons that a little person. Okay. Who? Oh. Monica's son. Perfect. Or nah, she's too big for that. Cause that's already going to Darnell's daughter. Now go to like Monica's son or some shit. That should be big enough for him. I thought it was gonna be something like that. I almost gave that back. I ain't gonna lie.
That was the only thing in here?
Yeah. That's everything. Alrighty. You made out good.
Yeah.
You know how I feel. Anytime I can give away more than the, you know what I mean, than the alternative, then. Oh. For the homie. So yeah, I also figured out too. One of my pets will be called homie.
Yeah, you already told me that.
Did I?
Yeah,
No.
it's amazing how you forget what you told me.
Cause I think it, and I don't know if I ever said it yet.
Oh.
Oh, you oh look at you with the plain box. You don't even want the the designer box I got you. I left that there for her to crawl through like a little tunnel shit.
Oh.
You never know. I may combine that today. I know I can't combine anything. Cause if that's the case, we might as well bring the 12-footer. I don't got room for the 12-footer. I like you. That looks good on you. I look good on you. Baby, look at this real quick.
What?
Come
What I'm
here.
looking at?
Come here. Look at this shit. Look at
What'd
this
you
shit.
do?
You see this shit?
What'd you do?
Come here. Come here. Feel that shit. Look at that shit. See that?
Yeah, I see it.
You see what that is?
Yeah, why did I do that?
Boyfriend material.
Yeah. I feel it.
Okay.
Better than leather.
I'm annoying as fuck. Just let you guys know. Like, listen. I officially know. No, stop, cause I got drinks over there.
You do?
I officially know what it means to be in a relationship when you annoy the shit out of each other beyond comprehension, but yet you're still here. She wants to play. Here we go. Stop, I got drinks over here. I got drinks over here. Y'all see this, right? Y'all see this? I'm potting. Like, we're live. We're live. We're in Cancun. We're in Jamaica. We're going out to Key West. Come on, Shugs. Let me continue. Else we're gonna be up all night.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I cut my eye. Okay. Y'all see this, right? Harassment. Sexual harassment. Hey, that was different. Stop it! Wait, you haven't even been drinking.
I know. Damn, what else can I throw at you?
I call her. No. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop it. Y'all, stop. Wait, stop. I'll go.
Alright, now back to regularly scheduled programming.
Nugget! Foul. Y'all see that, right? My headband's all crooked. I got fouled. 2 shots and 1. I feel like Mello. You know what I mean? Like, he gotta show him the headband. We gotta show him the headband just to prove that he got fouled. Like, yo, I got fouled. What you mean? Look at this. Be like, look at my headband. What you mean they ain't foul me? It's a real thing.
Yeah, I know.
They know. So let's get back to what we was talking about and wrap up our Knicks talk for the evening, right? So the New York Knicks aren't talking Ben Simmons. And yeah, that's what we was talking about before I was assaulted. Right? The New York Knicks are we don't hear any talks with them when it comes to the Ben Simmons stuff. Now, I told you there's new names being brought in every day. While on the Knicks side, Alex Burke is the new name that's brought into the equation. Now, as far as coming into the New York Knicks, the new name is one Russell Westbrook. And I want to tell you that this is a name that I'm torn on. Today, if you would have asked me, and let's go back, right? Because this is how quickly things change, right? As we're going back into this Brooklyn Nets and okay, I think it's happening. I remember at the time when I wanted CP3 and I still want CP3. My thought of him hasn't changed, even when people didn't want to trade for him. My thought about that hasn't changed, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Right? Russell Westbrook. This is one that I'm torn on. And I'm going to tell you right now, 60% of me says yes, I want Russ. 40% of me says no. A year or two ago, I'm trying to remember when was the last time I lobbied for him. If it was last year or the year before. I feel like this was last year. I feel like this was last year during the podcast. I would still take Russell Westbrook. I feel like I'll take him. And I say that because, again, you have to think of who your coach is. And there's a certain pattern that Tom Thibodeau likes. And what he likes is ball dominant point guards. He's been used to having Derrick Rose. And then as you can see, everybody else he tries to make into a point guard or he puts the ball into the hand of that game. He wants them to score 20-something points plus get 6, 7, 8 assists. Whoever he puts in command of the offense. Russell Westbrook, while lately we haven't seen him play well with a couple of stars here and there, there's one thing that we do know. Put the ball in his hand, give him command of the offense, let him do what we're basically, because you understand, what we call Ja Morant now is what Russell Westbrook used to be, and what Russell Westbrook still has as a mentality. I remember when I lobbied for Russell Westbrook, all of these are the things I was bringing in, I was trying to bring into consideration. His mentality, one of them. A guy that you know is going to give it his all 100% of the time to help teach these young guys on how to go balls to the wall. Because right now, they have good veterans to help teach them the game and keep them up to date with the game and make them professionals. What they don't have is a guy that pushes them consistently. But I mean push them where he's going to bust their ass, he's going to embarrass them, he's going to call them out and be a little demonstrative. They got kind vets. They got gentle vets. They got hold your hand vets. They have participation award vets.
They have where the fuck is the remote vets?
Which remote you looking for?
The fat one. Okay, Google.
Right here.
Switched MyT TV to HDMI 2.
Sure. Switching input to HDMI 2 on the MyT TV.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Right, so...
I love you.
Love you more. Yeah, so they have hold your hand vets. Russell Westbrook is a 80s vet. He's an 80s soul kind of vet, 60s, 70s soul kind of vet, an in-your-face kind of vet. You better knock if you buck kind of vet. But he's also very, when he's the leader of the team, he makes sure there's a big team camaraderie. And I told you that I've seen the change in people and how they talk about their team and the men in their locker room and how different it is after they've been exposed to Russell Westbrook when Russell Westbrook was the man. Or that dude on their team came in to be part of that dude. The Lakers is different. You can't outshine or you can't outpull what is the gravitational force of LeBron James. You can't resist that. Everybody gets sucked into that black hole. But Russ has his own gravitational pull. It just isn't strong as LeBron. So if Russ is on the New York Knicks, now granted, he's going to start taking a lot of heat. They're going to start talking to him. But now Russ gets a version of the Oklahoma City Thunder that he used to have. Where this isn't like Houston. This isn't even like Washington. This is more like Oklahoma City. Where he can run point. And when he's slashing to that lane consistently, that defense is going to start collapsing. And then we're going to start dishing it out to the R.J. Barracks and Obi Toppin or whoever. He's even going to help Obi Toppin with his game. As both of them run down the court at top speed and start banging on people's heads. Like I said, it's all about the mentality and what you're trying to do for a culture. And I thought that Russell Westbrook was going to be really great for the culture. Look at Steve Adams. The way that Steve Adams is due to him being under a Russell Westbrook culture-led team. Listen to Paul George talk differently about his team after when he was in Indiana and then after he left Oklahoma City. Listen how he talked about team. Listen how he addressed the media then when they talked about team stuff. It completely changed. Russell Westbrook will change your team mentality and bring together a more cohesive brotherhood amongst your squad. Believe that shit when he's the man. When you're following LeBron James or you're trying to not step on the toes of James Harden or you're trying to fit in with Bradley Beal, nah. When you go to New York and there's nobody there, there's no 30-point scorer, there's no all-star there's no next of right passage guy. Oh shit. Again, like I said, look at the breadcrumbs. The biggest one I could tell you is Adams. And then look who Adams went to go play with. He basically went to go play with a young Russell Westbrook. Now, you know who also Russell Westbrook is? Russell Westbrook is, and I hate to say a poor man's, but he is the yin to Derrick Rose's yang.
Yeah.
No, shut up.
Always saying some gay shit, dog.
Do I need to add a pause there? What's going on, Ronnie? I see you. My bad. I just saw you. But he's kind of the yin to his yang. So in a weird way, when you get back Derrick Rose, because like I said, think about it. If Derrick Rose is a Tom Thibodeau guy, just because of his style of play, that means Russell Westbrook is definitely a Tom Thibodeau guy, based off of style of play. And you know there's one thing that you never have to worry about Russell Westbrook, and that's giving you energy and giving you effort. And the one thing that the New York Knicks lack on a daily basis is energy and effort. But that is because the guy that is supposed to be their pseudo leader, guess what he does? He lacks energy and he lacks effort because he's not a Hurricane 5. He's a hurricane warning. He's a light breeze on an August day. So if you had to ask me right now, if I'm trading Julius Randle for Russell Westbrook, guess what? I'll cash out my own stocks to make that shit happen. You understand? I'll fuck up my retirement plan to make sure that shit happens. I'll be a part of that. But when that shit goes right, I also want my stake of the investment too, of those returns. You know what I mean? I want my stake of those jersey sales. Because you know Russell Westbrook comes to New York. Those jersey sales are going to go out the roof. I see Ronnie over here. So Ronnie, whoever you call in, you know, I was like, if you want to call in, whether you call in or you just want to respond. I have a question for you as I'm over here talking about Julius Randle. Like I told you, baby, this is one of those FQs. This is one of those FQs I was talking about that I have. What are FQs, folks? It's a little new thing that I have for you, folks. What these are fan questions. I have a couple of fan questions reserved for you guys, and as you guys pop into the podcast, I'm gonna ask you about them. I got a couple of FQs for you. FQ, Ronnie. I got an FQ.
What's the question?
What would you make of your star player? Unfollowing your team on social media. What would you make of that?
I would say something's going on with management. If the star player is unfollowing the team, that tells me that something's getting ready to happen.
You know what? I like your version. You didn't point any fingers anywhere. You didn't say, you know what? Something's about to happen. Yeah. Cause see, I feel like that's a passive aggressive way of a player asking for a trade. But you're right. It could be also the team going to him and be like, hey, I think we're probably good. We're looking to move you, and we have a deal in the works for you, and we're probably going to move you by the trade deadline, and he knows it. Now,
that's why I said that there's something probably coming.
Now, if that player has been having problems with the fan base, like booing the fan base, and he's not doing media interviews, do you think that would be a reason why he would unfollow the team?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Okay, that's my first FQ of the night. That is really my first FQ of the night. Because, like I said, because I don't know if you know this, but that is what Julius Randle did. Julius Randle has unfollowed the New York Knicks on social media.
That means that they might be getting ready to move him.
And I hope they are. And I'll take anybody. Listen, I'll take De'Aaron Fox. I'll take Ben Simmons. I'll take Russell Westbrook. Listen, I'll take any one of those light-skinned motherfuckers. You give them to me and I am happy. Okay? I am happy. And speaking of the lighter side of sports, right?
Yes.
Let's get into a little bit of lighter side of sports. I was watching very recently the Lakers versus the Clippers game. And I just wanted to point out how much I hate Reggie Miller and I hate his voice.
That was a great game, though. Great game.
It was a great game, but I gotta finish my thought about Reggie Miller first. Hate. Okay, just had to make that out there. I wish I had one of those fuck Reggie Miller drops like I have for Tom Brady and for Trae Young. I really wish I had it, but every time I play the Trae Young one, a small part of me trickles that down to all light skins everywhere that I hate that have done wrong to the New York Knicks. So you know what, Reggie Miller, I think I can go ahead and just go ahead and go ahead and give this to you. Wait, where is it at? It's not ready. Okay, it'll come to us a little bit later, or maybe later is right now.
Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young!
And I am still under the belief that since we're talking about the lighter side of sports, if Karl Malone didn't have John Stockton, Carmelo Anthony would have passed him already on the all-time scoring list. I still believe
Oh
that.
shit!
Oh yeah, that's one of my most controversial takes. I can't say that's one of my most controversial takes, but I believe that so wholeheartedly. Listen, like I said, and if you guys don't know, right, if you haven't caught on, the lighter side of sports is a segment where I talk about all light-skinned individuals that are playing sports that have done something of relevance as of late. But this is where we highlight the light skins. Because they're a walking highlight in themselves. And Reggie Miller is probably my number one most hate. He probably is the only light skin that I really truly hate. Like, you know, like we listen. In our community, we have a lot of we have a lot of inside jokes, right? And light skin is one of those inside jokes. Right? And while most of it is jokes, Reggie Miller's the only one of them I really don't like. Like, I absolutely do not like Reggie Miller and now Trae Young. And now Trae Young. Like, those are the only two I absolutely really don't like. Everybody else, I'm cool. I'm cool with Anthony Davis. I'm cool with Reggie. I'm cool with Carmelo Anthony. It kind of sucked. That was a good game between the LA Lakers and the LA Clippers. It really was. It was good as excited. It sucked. Carmelo Anthony. He went out that game with a little hammy injury. It came down to the last second. You saw Reggie Jackson hit the game-winning shot. The Lakers had an opportunity to try to come and win it. Both teams had no timeouts for their last shots. The Lakers just couldn't get held and bank that one in. And speaking of, just horrific.
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, Anthony Davis. I said Camille Anthony, didn't I?
Yep.
So can I tell you something? So have you ever played Jeopardy? Or you ever seen Jeopardy?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the category before and after? So,
no.
Okay, so I'm quirky like this, right? It's one of my idiosyncrasies, right? So there's a category that says before and after, and what before and after really is that it uses one word to tie in two different things. So it'll be like, so I can't think of anything right now, but what I can always think of is when it comes to sports, because I like to do this in the sports world. Like, for instance, Carmelo Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a before and after in Jeopardy. Because the Anthony connects us. So it'll be Carmelo Anthony Davis. Or
right.
Or who was another one? LeBron James Harden. That's another one. You know what I mean? So it's weird shit like that. And for some reason, every time like Carl Anthony, you know, like wait, Carl, is it Carl? No. Carmelo Anthony Edwards. That's another one. He's a new one. Like that little shit like that. Like, I don't know why that has always caught my eye, but yeah. That shit, little shit like that always like I always every time I catch a couple of people that I can find and put their names together, especially when it comes to sports, I always do this weird shit of playing before and after in sports when it comes to players' names. Just something weird. Just something weird. And there's not a lot of them out there, so that's why when you catch them, like, you really have to catch them. Because not very often somebody has somebody's last name as their first name. Now, as we're talking about, as we stay in our lighter side of sports, right? And we're kind of talking about this game between the Lakers and the Clippers. Does Ty Lue deserve coach? And when I say coach of the year, I don't necessarily need to win it, because it's kind of like how I talked about Julius Randall last year. I didn't need him to win it. I just needed the respect. I just need him to get the respect of being mentioned. Should Ty Lue definitely be mentioned as a serious candidate? And this is probably going to be the difference between obviously what Julius Randle was. A serious candidate for Coach of the Year. Also, I also know that I'm also putting in there the Cleveland Cavaliers coach. I don't know what the hell his name is, right? But I know once Chill Will gets in here, like, he'll be able to tell us, because he's our Cleveland correspondent. But does Ty Lue deserve serious consideration for Coach of the Year? There is no There's no Kawhi Leonard, and it's official now. He's not coming back for the rest of the year. There's been no Paul George for the majority of the year. Their best players is basically Serge Ibaka and Reggie Jackson, and they're in the thick of it like backyardigans. Now, that is a child reference, by the way. If you have children, then you... Ronnie, you fall asleep on me? This is something Ronnie's infamous for. So we're going to go ahead and mute him. And when he comes back, he can unmute us. I see what be going on here now. Listen. It's one of the things that he's actually infamous for. Now, I have to explain this to you guys. Just so you guys don't think that he just fell asleep like listening to me on the podcast. We have seen him fall asleep at a club beside the speaker. So, this to me isn't surprising. So, for you guys like, damn, he fell asleep on your podcast. Listen, when people's is tired, they're tired. We've seen him do it. We've seen Chill Will do it. Listen, believe it or not, I've given this podcast half asleep. Believe it or not. Like, I have days through a podcast. I'm like, yo, I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. I go back and I listen to that shit, and I'm like, yo, that autopilot muscle memory shit I was telling you guys about at the beginning of the podcast, that shit is for real, for real. But, you know, if your autopilot muscle memory isn't helping you perform the way that you used to perform, there's a little fix for that. And that fix is something simple as Blue Chew, folks. And what is Blue Chew? Blue Chew just happens to be a little blue pill that can help you get back your thrill. All you need to do is open up one of their little black packs and head to the SAT. Just a few chews before you do. Now I'm gonna tell you some scientific shit, right? It has the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so trust me when I say this is one opportunity that you just can't miss. And believe me when I say she is going to love how you come through like a champ when you Blue Chew in advance. Now, I'm going to help you out here. If you use this week's promo code, so this is the promo code I'm going to run from this Friday to next Friday, right? And I may even give you a new one on Monday to run from that Monday next one, but this is one I'm going to run from this Friday to next Friday. Who knows? We'll see. But this week's promo code is this one. I don't know. I may only let this one last through the weekend. So this weekend's promo code, right? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure you listen. EWIH. That's Echo Whiskey India Hotel. Or every wiener in holes. Right? But India Whiskey. Sorry. Echo Whiskey India Hotel. EWIH. Use that promo code and you'll be able to get your first order of Blue Chew for free on me. The only thing you need to do, you're gonna have to pay for shipping and handling. But don't be cheap. Pay your postal workers. They out there, rain, sleet, sun, snow. You know what I mean? Pay them. Make sure they get paid. Make sure they continue to get their dough. But as you make sure they get their dough, there's only two things that you're gonna have to make sure that you take care of once you get your order. Number one, you chew it. Number two, you do it. And if you're really lucky, which you probably are going to be, it'll be along a Lionel Richie kind of night. If you know what I mean. All night long, all night, yeah. All night long. Blue Chew. Just chew it and do it, baby. Chew it and do it. All right, so let's get back into the sports. I'm curious if Ty Lue, I don't even say I'm curious. As it currently stands right now, Ty Lue is probably one of my number one candidates for Coach of the Year. Another one off the top of my head without looking real deep into things, is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers head coach as well. Eric Spoelstra should get some love and respect for what he does, but also this is a little bit of fatigue in a sense, or wanted to recognize one of the guys that they haven't been here before. Like, we know that you've gotten this and you're doing some things, but you've done this already. So now you're expected to do this. You're not doing anything surprising like Tom Thibodeau last year, you know. So now this year you look for the surprise, and you look for the team that you didn't expect to be here. And right now, with the injuries that they have, the Clippers are 1, and with this the general squad that they have, the Cleveland Cavaliers are number 2. So trust me when I say the Cleveland Cavaliers should be getting a serious bid for Coach of the Year.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Now, as we stay in the lighter side of sports, right? Let's go back and touch a little bit on Ben Simmons, right? And we have another guy in the lighter side of sports that we're going to talk about, but I don't want to talk about him here. We're going to talk about him in a whole different segment. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons. We touched up on Ben Simmons in the. We touched up on Ben Simmons when we did our Knicks talk, but let's actually really talk about what's going on with Ben Simmons. We brought this up already several times, right? So just to give you guys a light recap, for the ones that this is your first time here, perfectly understand how you may feel about Ben Simmons about his last shot, but I would like to always consistently remind people that Ben Simmons is still what is considered an all-star defensive player. He is an all-star defensive player, and he's a 6'9" athletic point guard at that. With all of those things, all right, with all of those things taken into consideration, well, why is the name? Oh, I know why. This things. Whoa. I gotta mute that. My bad. I was looking at something. I like how I look. Alrighty. So, I just had to make sure that the YouTube was looking right. And plus, I need to share this anyway. Yeah, don't forget to go check us out. You know what? I'm going to start pushing you people there. Go to our Facebook. Go to our YouTube. Go ahead and like, share, and definitely subscribe so that anytime I go live, you hear that little... and you'll be able to come join the podcast. Right, I just came over here because I wanted to see the comments. So let's get back. Right, that's what happens when you're trying to do multiple things at once. Like, but you guys understand. I'm a one-man show. Like I said, I'm a one-take wonder. Like I'm AKA the Renaissance Man, AKA the Tin Man, AKA Tony Baritone, AKA Mr. Energy. I had another AKA that I had produced that was built off of energy. I felt like I gave myself a first name, and I forgot it. But don't worry. It's on one of my hashtags. I'm gonna remember that one. I'm sorry.
Danger zone.
So, more stuff coming out of, like I said, we're not a lot of sports. More stuff are coming out about Ben Simmons, right? And while Ben Simmons is sitting around there, and we don't know what his status is gonna be, if he's gonna be traded, if he's gonna end up sitting out all year. I know that we were wondering recently on this podcast, right? I know that there were callers that was wondering on the podcast. A couple of drunk uncles. I think it was Ronnie, actually. It was Ron, right? We gotta figure out who your team correspondents is. I really do, because I be forgetting. I ain't gonna lie. Cause you know I joke about it so much about what teams that you actually do root for. I actually really do forget what teams that you actually do root for. So, you know, cause I'm gonna have to listen, when you get on here, you're gonna have to start giving us an update on your team. Officially your job. Ben Simmons is very much staying in shape. And I know that was one thing we was wondering, like, hey, what is Ben Simmons doing? I was like, there's no way that he's just sitting around getting all fat and sassy. There's no way. Like, he's a professional, and also hoopers want to hoop. But listen, I'm a hooper, and all the time, all I want to do is make it to the basketball court. Even when my knees hurt, or even when something's hurting on me, I'm like, yo, all I really want is for this to be healthy enough, or for this to not hurt enough for me to be able to get to the basketball court. And I still don't get to the basketball court enough. Like, I should be going there once a week, or at least once every 2 weeks, but I don't. I really don't. I'm getting to the point where I think I'm able to get back there, which is really weird, because I wasn't able to really get back there like right after I got out the army in my 20s, but I was fresh out of my surgery. In my 30s, I had to. It's when I ended up losing back all the weight and getting back in shape, right? And then right at the end of my 30s is when I started getting back into basketball again. But I had to take like a 10-year hiatus. Imagine that. Imagine, for the most part, you take a 10-year hiatus before you ran any kind of full team or any kind of team basketball game. The only thing I did was a couple of 21s. You know, I made a couple of one-on-ones here, some shooting rounds to keep myself kind of loose. But I ain't really run no 3-on-3s, 4-on-4s, or no full courts. You know what I mean? I think one time we did. I think one time we ran a 3-on-3 that got interrupted. But other than that, like, yeah, like an actual competitive game, it's been a while. Yeah, I gotta get into Restream and fix that shit. Restream is fucking with me. Alrighty, so Ben Simmons, back to him. Right, so he has been definitely keeping in shape. Now, what we found out is that how he's keeping in shape is really what's intriguing, right? Or maybe even fucked up a little bit, because as you know, he doesn't participate in team activities. And he's not really and he's not allowed to use the facilities either. So basically what he's doing is that he has been jumping from gym to gym, buying out a gym, getting a private gym, buying time here and there, and also to try to find any space that he could go ahead and work out, inviting guys anywhere that he could go ahead and run a couple of games. But then you also have to remember, he has to be even extra strategic about it. He can't just I want to go to this gym, because he is public enemy number 1 in Philly. So when he is talking about what happened with the Philadelphia 76ers has caused him a level of stress and also angst. If you put yourself in his shoes and how it may have seemed that the organization that you thought was your team turned their back on you, right? Then I can understand the vexedness. As I think that we all can in a weird way, right? Or I can understand even his stress level. Because now, because of what happened there, and because the bridges were already burnt in Philly, he can't go out in public and function normal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a normal person, like, oh, okay, nah. He's catching heat from other people in Philly. And you know how Philly is. He goes to the wrong place, and he's catching heat. You know what I mean? Where's the YouTube title at? But not only is he now having to find alternative means, right? And an alternative safe means to try to be able to keep himself in shape. But also, he's doing this while also being fined. Every single day. Every single game. He's being fined. And his fines, if I heard this properly, has already gotten to, what is it? Has already gotten all the way up to $19 million. You realize $19 million is basically his yearly salary? Yes. Well, I think it's 29 mil. If I'm not mistaken. I think exactly his salary may be 29 mil. So then I ask you, and again, if you're watching on YouTube, right? One of the things I'm going to tell you, don't pay attention to whatever title that YouTube put on there. Look right down here, okay? This is the current episode. This is the current show name. And this is what's going on, okay? Whatever they have, I don't know what the fuck is going on. That is what the current show is. So I'm not talking Super Bowl or wild card shit. We talking Ben Simmons and Washington team football, Giants trade deadline, Julius Randall and my Knicks talking all kinds of other shit, right? Just so. I just want to let you guys know that shit. Like don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused, right? Like don't get all, bent out and shit. But make sure you guys stay there and you stay following. And don't forget to like, share, and follow. Subscribe. Get that little bing bong going on. Ben Simmons is almost getting fined to a point where he's almost going through his whole year's salary. Now, one thing that I've heard, I can't remember where I was hearing this at, that if he gets traded, that they may go into some kind of arbitration to see if they're able to recoup back some of the funds or the salary that he lost. But other than that, like Ben Simmons, he's not lying, or I don't want to say lying. He's not exaggerating when you hear him talk about the turmoil or the angst or the stress level that one incident and how his team reacted to it in the media and publicly has directly and adversely affected his life and his mental stability. And that's why even part of me wonders, can you be successful in New York? And the thing about being successful in New York is you just got to be successful. The wins and the losses may not get blamed on you. You just got to do your part. Get those 19, 7, and 7 every single game. Help try to be the determining factor. Don't be scared to go to the lane. At least draw the contact. Like Shaq couldn't shoot free throws, but when he needed to, he shot them. Giannis had a problem with free throws, but when he needed to, he shot them. And look at him now. Look at him now. We all know the story of Giannis. Like it's basically a rags to riches. Like he was some teams' ball boy or water boy, and now, you know what I mean?
People told me I can't make free throws. I made my free throws tonight, and I'm a freaking champion. I made them and I'm supposed to make them.
That's all that really matters. Like, you're gonna get fouled, just make them when you're supposed to make them. And you're gonna fail a couple of times, but you keep getting there and you'll get yourself in a situation where eventually you'll stop freezing and you'll get comfortable being in that uncomfortable position, and you'll make it. Because right now, the only reason why you're uncomfortable there is because you haven't prepared properly. And we know Tom Thibodeau helps his teams get prepared. So let's hope it's a lack of preparation that it was. I don't see how it was a lack of preparation with a guy like Ben Simmons, but we see that you like to be coddled. And if you like to be coddled and not coached up, maybe that may be the second X against you. One is the fan base and the media. The other one is the coach. do you like to be coached? And if not, then maybe you go to Sacramento. Maybe there's a 3-team trade. Maybe Ben Simmons goes to Sacramento. The Knicks get De'Aaron Fox, and Philly gets Julius Randle. Who knows? That could be part of it. Like, what if Julius Randle is the backup to Joel Embiid, or the backup to LeBron James? Who knows? Let's say this all in the air. We got 6 days. We got 6 days before we talk about trade deadline. Cause like I said, it's right there, folks. It is right there. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and drop that and get into our next segment, right? As we like to tell you guys, we are the unofficial podcast of Rock Nation Sports. So we would like to hit you guys with a little Rock Nation Sports update, if you don't mind, cause folks, it's a couple of reasons, right? I'm from Brooklyn. Jay-Z's from Brooklyn. That's all that's really it. That's really all that matters, right? And he got some athletes. He really does have some athletes. So let's start it off light, right? Let's give you a light version of it, right? And let's not get into anything too heavy, but let's go ahead and give a little bit of love. That wasn't what I wanted, but okay. But you guys get the point, all right? That's an old one. But I do want to give a little shout out, a little big up. You know what we do? Big up. We don't do round of applause here on the podcast. Everybody gets a big up. And that's to one LaMelo Ball, as he gets a career high 38 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds the other night. But not just getting a career high, but also getting obvious. And I think it's kind of obvious, but also making sure getting invited and voted and sent over to the All-Star Weekend and to the Rising Star Challenge. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll talk about this a little bit later in the podcast, but there's a couple of snubs that I feel happened from this All-Star Weekend, and I feel like he's one of them. We'll talk about that later, right? But he's made it to the Rising Star Challenge. Not just him, also Raptors own and Rock Nation Ball and Raptors own Precious Achiuwa. He's also been voted to the Rising Star All-Star Weekend, and also Detroit Pistons own Isaiah Stewart, folks, also voted to the Rising Star Challenge. So big up to big up to LaMelo, big up to Precious, and big up to Isaiah Stewart as they all are gonna make it into the Rising Star game, folks. Yeah, the Rock Nation Sport has a ton of young and promising talent, and I ain't gonna lie to you, LaMelo Ball may be the steal of the ball, right? You know what I mean? He really may be, and he's with Jay-Z. You talking about swag on 100,000 million? Like, him discovering, like, him getting him is basically like Jay-Z is officially turned to Christopher Columbus, and everybody else is now Pilgrim. He has one of the top 3 most exciting players in the league right now. Young players, that is. There's 3 exciting players in the league right now. And you know what? I know who my 3 is. Why don't you guys, if you can, tell me who you consider your top 3 of the young players in the league? And as you go ahead and get that thinking about, right? I'll come back to this. I'll come back to that a little bit, right? Because you guys know I'm a wrestling fan, right? And not only just I'm a wrestling fan, I also am the ring announcer for a local wrestling organization down here in South Florida called Platinum Pro Wrestling. Folks, I don't know when our next event is, as because of COVID, we've had things been altered and changed, and COVID has been an obstacle that we have not been able to overcome as of yet. But we look forward to possibly getting in a show pretty soon. I thought there was supposed to be one coming up around January, February. Who knows? We may not be doing one to March, April, May, June-ish. But we'll definitely keep an ear out for that, because as you know, Platinum Pro Wrestling is a cut above the rest. And once you watch one show, you'll never be able to watch another one outside of them ever again. But I like to give love to all of the local communities, so you guys make sure that you go out there. Probably and I know that we signed a bunch of guys that are excited, but probably still one of my favorite and one of the most exciting local indie wrestlers down here in South Florida is one Cha-Cha Charlie. And I want him, and even though he's not part of our organization, like I said, he has wrestled with us before, and I've seen him before, and I would like to give him his roses and recognize him as probably one of the hardest working, one of the best indie wrestlers in the business. And listen, that's not just him. There's a bunch of people out there, but Cha-Cha, I don't know why he has a certain command, and there's a couple of people that has a command. Oh man, there's one guy that I'm thinking of, like the Lionheart Brawler from Philly. He's another one that has a certain command of the room, right? But Cha-Cha, right, because he's also he gets that positive vibe going on. He really gets everybody working, whether you like him or you don't. He kind of gets everybody vibing. Like I said, the other guy is the Lionheart Brawler from Philly. I'm forgetting his name, but he is definitely another one that always garners interaction. Two of those, probably two of the best down here in South Florida. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit of wrestling for you guys, right? Because we found out some very interesting news. And before we get fully into the wrestling thing, hope you guys have had the opportunity to go ahead and figure out who are some of your top three young players in the league, right? Most exciting, that is. And I'm talking about exciting. Like, there's some good guys, but are you excited? Who's truly excited? Like, I must watch you, because anytime that you play, I may get an ooh shit moment. You know what I mean? Like you know the kind of moment that I'm talking about. That moment that makes you pucker your lips, makes you get high pitch, or make you just go out there screaming,
Oh, baby! Oh, baby!
exactly. And I've given you one already. Probably the lowest one on the totem pole is probably LaMelo Ball, right? He probably is the low man on the totem pole when it comes to these guys. Right? But he is just like I said, swag on 100,000 million. Like to see him play. Like to see his outfits, his game outfits, everything about LaMelo. Like I said, is exciting to watch. He's gonna be one of the young, exciting faces of the league for a good decade. Another one is Anthony Edwards. He's right there in the middle of the pack. Not only is his swag on 100,000 million, but when he talks, he looks so super comfortable in his skin. And he's one of those guys that not only do you want to see what he's about to do on the court, and also see his outfit coming into the court, but when he grabs that mic and he starts to talk, you want to see what he's about to say as well, because he's also highly entertaining. He is good on that mic. He has a natural gift of gab. Not to say like LaMelo don't, but LaMelo don't sit there and really, from what I've seen, he really don't sit there and really talk and gab it up and play around with the media to see what I see that Anthony Edwards does, right? So he is my number 2 guy. Number 1, we already told you about him. The Jaw Dropper Morant. Yes, folks, number 1. He is the most exciting player to watch play basketball, hands down, as it currently stands. If you stand on your hands, then hands up. But still hands down, whatever. Most excitable player to watch in this league whatsoever. And all 3 of those guys, none of them are more than 3 years in the league. They're gonna be the wave of the new school, right? Along with some Trae Young, some Trash Young, whatever, some sprinkled in there as well for what he does. Yeah, like I said, I think Jason Tatum ironically, Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown's their time has kind of passed. Like they're gonna be good, solid players for the league. You know, keep things constructive and keep things competitive. But those three young guys, those are gonna be the guys. Those are gonna be some guys to watch out for. And like I said, you're gonna have Trae Young sprinkled in there. Zion Williamson is constantly gonna be talked about, but we're gonna wait to see if he can just finish out a full season. But even if he doesn't, like he'll be talked about in what ifs. Even if he does this for 9 years, seriously, because Ja Morant is gonna be relevant for 9 years and is gonna help carry the weight of whatever talk is Zion. If Zion isn't healthy, that is. Now I want to move into some light WWE and some light wrestling talk. As you know, I'm a wrestling fan. I already talked to you about. I'm the wrestling organization I'm a part of. So WWE has their Elimination Chamber that is coming up, folks. They just had their Royal Rumble event again. The Royal Rumble winners happen to be one Ronda Rousey, who she returned to WWE, and then Brock Lesnar also won the Royal Rumble for the men's side after losing his title belt earlier in that night. And he still hasn't determined, and neither superstar has determined which title they want to go after. And this is one of those few times, right, where the person that is the number one contender or the Royal Rumble winner has beef with both title holders. Like normally they're just trying to determine which one they want to go after, who's the easier target. Whoever has won the Royal Rumble, they may not necessarily have beef with both title holders. In this instant, Brock Lesnar has beef with Bobby Lashley, the Raw Heavyweight title holder, and Roman Reigns, the SmackDown 1 title holder, right? And then when it comes to the Women's Championship, for Ronda Rousey, she has Charlotte Flair, who we have seen the physical matches that they have been into in and out. And I can't remember if they had Charlotte Flair beat her or she beat Charlotte Flair. But like I said, it was one of the most physical matches I've ever seen her in. And like I said, after that, Charlotte Flair was just on a winning streak that was ridiculous. And then there's also Becky Lynch, the woman that beat her for the title. But also, if you remember, the last time they fought, if I'm correct, right, when Becky Lynch won that title, it was a 3-way match between then Raw champion Ronda Rousey, SmackDown champion Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch was coming in there as the naked one, and she ended up winning the belts. Well, now tables are a little bit turned. This time around, Ronda Rousey is the naked one, and it's Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, basically the two women that was projected the most from the signing and firing of Ronda Rousey the last time around. So, WWE's WrestleMania is going to be very interesting. But before we get to WrestleMania, we have the Elimination Chamber. They have that steel structure, demonic steel structure that they have, where it's going to be 2 people that start off in the ring, and then what they're going to do, they have 4 people in pods, and everything is surrounded by metal, and periodically they're going to be releasing people from pods to come join the ring. This is an elimination match, so basically the last man standing is the one that wins. This isn't the first one to a pinfall or to submission. Nope, you have to beat 5 other individuals to go ahead and come away with your dub, and these matches are for the belts. And it's already been announced that Brock Lesnar is going to be joining the match against Bobby Lashley. And he hasn't even made his decision yet for the Royal Rumble, for WrestleMania. So things are going to stay interesting there. Now. That was just giving you an update of what's happening in WWE from a match standpoint. But that isn't the reason why WWE came across our radar. WWE came across our radar due to all of the individuals that they recently released. Remember, we gave you a bunch of names on Wednesday's podcast, whether you caught it or not. Like I said, Wednesday's podcast, when we do those live at Sharkies, you really have to catch those lives, whether in person or live when we're recording, either on the website or through Podbean. if you or however you watch the podcast. If you're and even watching it, I can't guarantee you're gonna hear the whole thing. Best place is probably Podbean. We can also call it and interact because these get caught up in whole kinds of copyright stuff because I can't control the audio. Or I haven't taken command of the audio in the background as of yet. So like I said, they had a bunch of individuals that were released. One of the most notable names were Keith Lee, also Mia Yim, Ember Moon, Lynch Dorado, Grand Metalik, Oni Larson, Harry Smith, Eva Marie, and also Nia Jax. Alright, so part of the reason why we brought up in here is because one of those individuals ended up making news. And let's talk about the thing that they started making news about. And that is the vaccination. The COVID vaccination, which is ironic because now that they're making news about the COVID vaccination, it makes me wonder if this led to the reason why WWE was one of the first organizations to stop testing for COVID. They did. Like, we talked about this about a month or so on the podcast, weeks and weeks ago. We talked about this on the podcast. WWE was no longer testing for COVID. They stopped. Now, as time passes, we come to learn that, you know what? Hey, a lot of WWE superstars were out there getting fake vaccination cards so that they can wrestle. It makes me wonder if enough prominent stars were getting fake vaccination cards that Vince was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not taking the test because you motherfuckers are bringing me fake shit. So you know what? If you're gonna come here with fake shit anyway, that means you're comfortable not being tested, not being vaccinated or whatever it is. So whatever status that you're currently at, I'm gonna let you wrestle. If you're comfortable wrestling, then you wrestle. I expect everybody that can be here to start being here. I'm no longer tested. But we found out a lot of individuals were getting fake vaccination cards. And who was one of those individuals? Well, one of those individuals is one of the people that one of the 9 names that I just named as being released. Who? It was one Nia Jax. Nia Jax is anti-vax. And she doesn't even believe in the vaccination or the whole entire status of it. But listen, I don't judge anybody that believes in it or not. You do what you want to do. You either know people that have died from it or you don't know people that have died from it at this point in time. You either know people that have caught it or you don't know people that have caught it. I think at this point in time, I think everybody has known somebody that has caught it. It's just now, do you know somebody that has died from it or not? And like I said, this thing has first it hit me indirectly, as I said, as a couple of my co-hosts caught it, and then some of my co-host family members caught it, and one of my co-host family members ended up passing away from it. Right, so that's how it hit us indirectly. And then as recently as within the last 60 days, one of my family members ended up dying from COVID as well. So it is still very much out there, whether what you want to believe or not. It something that has COVID is out there that still can take lives. And what your level of vaccination determines to be is still your choice. And whatever happens, what happens. Que sera, sera. If you want to know my status, I got my first vaccination and I haven't gotten anything since. I'm gonna treat it like my flu shot. I'll get one every 3 years if I have to. And it's more like 3 to 7 years because I could never keep track of the time. And then when I ask, hey, when's the last time I got it? And they're like, I'm like, yeah. And then when they want to give it to me, I'm like, yeah, I got a show like in 2 weeks. I can't risk you guys getting me sick. Let's schedule this for next year. So let us continue, right? And actually, before we continue, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play a quick commercial for you guys, right? Now, if you're familiar with the show, right? You know what's about to happen. If you're unfamiliar with the show, this is your first time here. If you're listening on anywhere besides Podbean, you're going to hear a commercial. If you're listening on Podbean, you're going to get interrupted as we're going to close out this feed, as this feed is about to cut off real soon. And what we're going to do, we're going to open up a new feed for you guys to call in with on Podbean. And then, like I said, while that happens, you guys will hear the end of the commercial, and everybody else will be able to continue along. So please bear with us as we play a commercial. It's the only commercial that I personally run during. As you know, I got a live read in here. The only commercial I personally run in here because if you don't know, I am an Army veteran, and so I like to always big up my branch. So you will hear.
They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous. They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world. And they can respond, I became a soldier.
I told you, that was quick, that was painless, it was harmless. 60 seconds. We are back with the MyT Sports Podcast. Again, I am your host, the one and only Untitled Chapter, a.k.a. Mr. Energy himself, a.k.a. the Army Black Knight, and a.k.a. your favorite podcaster. Let's talk about my new favorite person, right? And guys, I've told you guys before.
Hey, ladies!
Where the ladies at?
You guys gotta send a woman do a man's job.
I consume a lot of media, right? Sports media, that is. Whether it's actual games or talk radio, podcasts, whatever, right? Consume a lot. And I'm never shy of giving credit or telling you guys to go listen to something maybe that I may have found interesting. Especially when I always consistently find interesting things from them. Again, All the Smoke podcast. They had an interview with Christina Williams. Go ahead and check out that podcast. I want to give a shout out to Christina Williams, right? Because as you guys know, right? As you guys know, we have for the 7 years we've been doing this podcast, we have always talked about that women's sports do need a bigger voice. They do need to be better recognized. When I hear women's sports being talked about, I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it the same way I hear about men's sports. I want to know about I want to know about the girl coming out of high school. I want to know the number one prospect out of college. I want to know what's going on in the WNBA. Who's out? Who's in? The trades that's being made. The money that's being done. Who's sitting? Who's taking a year off for pregnancy? And who's going overseas? Who's doing this? Who's doing what? Basically, all the intricacies and the ins and outs of it. I want to hear it, and I want to love it, and I need it, and I want it, and I go searching for it. And in my searches, I did not know that there was one individual by the name of Christina Williams that existed. Until I heard the All the Smoke podcast and she was on it. And neither Stat nor Barnes was on it. And they had a whole different cast. And I can't remember who the other guys were. But I remember Christina Williams. Because I remember how she so eloquently pontificated about the inner workings and the movements of the WNBA. And I was automatically sports smitten. You guys know how I feel about women's sports. I feel like ESPN has been bullshitting with women's sports for years now. That they should have been giving ESPNW their own television network. So that the same way that I can go turn on any given day and watch 8 billion bullshit men's sports, or just hear you regurgitate and talk about the same men all day long, I want to hear that on repeat for the same women. You have enough in the game to give them their own station. You did it with the U, and you do it with the news, and you do it with the 2, and you've done it with the Ocho. You've had bowling, you've had curling, you've had darts, you've had all kinds of unnecessary bullshit. You can give the women their own their own ESPNW channel, and make sure all the WNBA games are there. You make sure women's lacrosse is there. You make sure the LFL is there. You make sure women's tennis is there. Women's golf is there. Volleyball is there. and you be one of the major networks that gives them television money to help bump that salary. I've been saying this here for years now. You know how I feel about women's sports, and I say this so passionately because I stumbled. I always say discover because I didn't discover anybody. I stumbled upon Christina Williams, and it just made my day. Folks, Christina Williams, I said go check her out. She's Christina Williams spelled with a K, so it's Khristina Williams. Go follow her. Probably the best voice you can hear about the WNBA, and then listening to her and find out that guess what? She's one of the few people that was highlighted for 30 under 30. Shout out to you. I got a cousin that was part of that too, Nicole Smith, right? She was doing she does jewelry out west, right? She's shit. I always forget the person that she's real cool with, but I don't want to name drop, but. I'm going to name drop my cousin Nicole Smith because if you guys ever buck up with each other or you know each other, bang bang, shout out. You know what I mean? But also Christina Williams, she's also the founder of Girls Talk Sports TV, which I haven't found the YouTube page for it. I'm gonna go look for that so that I can subscribe and I can sign up for notifications so that every time you drop something I can get that little. You know what I mean? And so from here on out, folks, if you hear me tell you any WNBA news, just go ahead and assume. Actually, don't even assume. Just know I got it from Christina Williams. I was lurking on her page. No, I don't want to say lurking. But I was scrolling through her page and I was siphoning it for information. Oh shit. Restricted free agent Monique Billings and the Atlanta Dream are finalizing a deal. Oh shit. Taj Cole has signed a contract on February 2nd, 2022 with the Connecticut Suns. And for all my spiritual people, as you see, I have a bloodstone around my chest, so I know exactly what you mean, Taj Cole. If all my spiritual people, you know what those numbers mean. like she's looking to have a blessing on blessing on blessing kind of career. So again, go follow Christina Williams. Go listen to her. Go find Girls Talk Sports TV. Go go subscribe, go bing bong. You know, for all the notifications. And if you love women's basketball, respectfully, because you know I got a co-host that likes to say some dumb shit. I be wanting to smack the shit out of him every time he says that. That's because I be disrespecting him when it comes to him being from that whole Connecticut, Boston area, and what comes through the shower that is drizzled as Tom Brady's essence all over him. Yeah, that's just why I say shit like that, because he says disrespectful shit about women's sports. Basketball. So is it just me? Is it just, let me ask. I'm gonna have to make a poll out of this. Is it disrespectful to say that the women need to lower the rim so that they can dunk more to possibly make it more exciting to get more viewers? You guys let me know. I'm gonna drop that as a poll pretty soon, and we'll see how that works. Or I may just cut it straight from here. I ain't gonna lie. I may just cut it straight from here. But you guys let me know, right? Because I'm kind of curious. I really, really am. How you guys feel about that? Now, I got another FQ, but I don't have the people in here that I would like to ask this to. But I ask to everybody. I have another FQ that's out there, right? Because the trade deadline is just about 6 days away, folks. Yes, if you're unaware, I've been mentioning it all day. The trade deadline is on February 10th, and folks, I currently right now have the Dallas and who's Dallas playing? Philly. The Dallas and Philly game. They are in Dallas. Has this game started yet? Yep, there's about 6 minutes into this game right now in the first quarter. I don't see the score as of yet. My TV is lagging, as you can see. Like I said, a lot of shit going on here. Mama say, Mamaku-sa kind of shit. This game currently right now, there's about 6 minutes past in the first quarter. It is 20-17 in the likes of Philly. And it looks like Joel Embiid is already in double digits. If not, he's at 8-9 points already. So he's getting real close. I already starting off with a good game, and as you know, folks, he is having one of those years where he should be in MVP talks, serious MVP talk in consideration. And as we talked about Ben Simmons earlier, his team is one of those teams that you're probably going to hear the most chirping about when it comes to the trade deadline. Like, because Ben Simmons hasn't played yet, and because Ben Simmons is out there for the taking, and Ben Simmons is a high commodity, like I said, see, I understand that people may want to diminish Ben Simmons' value. And I know realistically as a fan, you're not really when you talk about, I'll give up this for Ben Simmons. But when you give up that for Ben Simmons, you're still hoping that you get that Ben Simmons who's playing like a defensive all-star. So that's what you're still hoping that he plays like, and you still have to be willing to give that up for him. If not, you're just blowing smoke. Then you're just blowing smoke up everybody's ass, and I can see why Philadelphia hasn't seriously gotten rid of him. But Philadelphia is not gonna stop being in the trade news until the trade deadline passes. So if they don't find so for the next 6 days, prepare yourself to be overly nauseated with where is the Philadelphia 76ers going to trade Ben Simmons? Are they going to find a home for him? Are they going to find a place for him? They said it's the market looks interesting out there, and it looks promising out there. When you talk about the names that you're hearing about, like I said, Julius Randle, De'Aaron Fox, Ben Simmons, like those names, Russell Westbrook. Like when you hear the names that are being out there, you're like, whoa. You can easily see some 1-for-1 trades, right? Like you can easily see, LA, New York, swap. Oh, Philly and Sacramento, swap. Like you could easily see that. If I had to be honest, I still wholeheartedly believe, and that's why maybe even part of me hopes that the New York Knicks are trying to get themselves involved in a 3-team trade. I wholeheartedly believe the best place for Ben Simmons is probably going to be in Sacramento. And the reason why I say Sacramento is because he may need to go to a fan base that doesn't boo their stars. As we've learned, and like I said, as a New Yorker, I didn't know this was a thing. Like seriously, it's just like so. Probably how it works the other way. How in Toronto they're not booing the Toronto Raptors, or in Cleveland they're not booing the Cap. I forgot. There's a couple of fan bases that is like, yo, we don't boo our team here. That was low key just as shocking to me as probably the fan base that doesn't boo their team. Hearing me say like, oh no, we booing you. Like you stick up the joint that night. We ain't gonna coddle you like grandma. Like, oh, it's all right, baby. Just say you'll get the next one. Like, oh no, like they stole it from you. Oh my baby, go ahead and get that ball back. Why are you gonna take the ball from? Come here, child. I got some pudding for you. We're not gonna do that in New York. Get your fucking ass out there, you fucking big shit. Go make a fucking basket. Go play some goddamn defense. Play some motherfucking effort. You over here letting him blow past you. What the fuck are you, a turnstile? Like who are you? Or your mother? Everybody gets a fucking turn. What is going on over here? That's New York. That's Philly. That's even Miami to an extent. Those are how a city talks when you're not afraid of your team leaving, or you know your team ain't going nowhere, or when they ain't the only goddamn show in town, so you gotta lick their asshole. Cause we don't toss salad over here. So until the trade deadline passes, we're gonna hear heavy on the Ben Simmons, and I think that Sacramento may be the best move for him. Sacramento may easily be the best move for him, and if Sacramento is the best move for him, I don't want Philly to get De'Aaron Fox. So now, this is where I hope. And granted, they have a young point guard there anyway that looks like they wanna move him into that next spot and work him into being a starter. That's the Kentucky starter from a couple years ago, Max Seal. I really hope there's a 3-team trade being worked out where Ben Simmons could still go to Sacramento and Julius Randle could go to Philly. Get Joel Embiid a little bit of a break. When he's out the game, someone can kind of a rest. Have Julius Randle play against the second unit. Or, right, have Julius Randle go to Philly and have De'Aaron Fox come to New York. Or, if Philly and Sacramento are hell-bound down doing their thing together, then New York, you do a deal with the LA Lakers. And again, maybe Julius Randle may even need to go to Sacramento. And maybe the next trade that the New York Knicks make is with a 3-team trade involving the Lakers, Sacramento, and New York. And maybe Julius Randle still goes to Sacramento. And Buddy Hield goes to the Lakers. And Russell Westbrook comes to New York. Who knows? See, there's so many different options because Buddy Hield also should have been out of LA last year. And he's still there. For some odd reason. Sacramento is, they've been playing hardball just as much as Philly does. But it's only so long you can play hardball before you're going to lose out on the complete value of your asset. 6 days. By this time next week, the trades would have been made, and we'll be talking about everybody who's newly on their team. When we have our show next Wednesday from Sharkies, shit still won't be faster. Yes, folks, we're gonna go to Sharkies every single Wednesday this whole entire month. Black History Month will be there the whole entire time. Every single week. It's also Super Bowl. I cannot be there the week before the Super Bowl. I cannot be there the week after the Super Bowl. We're gonna talk our talk. So, I already you already hear me talking. You already heard me talk about who I want for the New York Knicks. I can't really talk about anybody else but the New York Knicks outside of the Brooklyn Nets, and I don't know what moves that the Brooklyn Nets want to make since they sound like they're steadfast on not getting rid of Harden. I don't think anybody's gonna take Kyrie. I don't think anybody's gonna take Kyrie Irving. And then, like I said, Kevin Durant, he's not going anywhere. So really, your two movable assets is Kyrie Irving or James Harden, and they said they're not trying to move James Harden, but they're gonna have to figure something out. You understand that they have a longer losing streak than the New York Knicks currently have. They've lost 4 games straight. The New York Knicks have lost 3. But they have James Harden or they have Kyrie Irving. New York Knicks don't have either one of those. It makes me wonder. I'm not going to lie to you. It makes me wonder if the Brooklyn Nets are losing games on purpose. So that they can be on the road and have Kyrie Irving for 4 games versus 3. A part of me is wondering if the Brooklyn Nets are purposely trying to fall to the 6th seed. Just so that they can try to secure a home court advantage or Kyrie court advantage through the playoffs. I don't know if that's cynical of me, because I thought about it when it first happened. And I was like, nah, that can't be the case. And then they've gone on this horrific losing streak. And I'm like, wait a minute. You were playing perfectly fine before Kyrie got declared to play. And you were winning games. Why the fuck are you losing now? How the fuck are you losing now? The Brooklyn Nets are losing to the teams that the New York Knicks just beat. New York Knicks just beat the Sacramento Kings and the Brooklyn Nets are losing to them. That shouldn't happen. I don't care. I don't care. A part of me, I know it's cynical. It's the deepest. It's the deepest dive of cynicism, right? But nothing else makes sense to me. So with the trade deadline coming up in 6 days, you guys, I'm dropping in the comments, right? We'll continue to discuss this. What realistic trades would you like to see your team make? Take the time. Look at the money. Shoot me a message. Let me know. Drop a comment. Let me know. Right after the trade deadline passes, 10 days after that, we have All-Star Weekend. We've known about the starters for some time now. For the West, for the East, we have Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, DeMar DeRozan, Joel Embiid, and Trash Young. For the West, we have Stephen Curry, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, John Morant, and Andrew Wiggins. When the starters first came out, I want to say that the biggest problem here was probably Andrew Wiggins. And that was only because they thought that Devin Booker, a lot of people thought that Devin Booker probably should have got that nod over him. And what they failed to realize, it was a position thing. He's the forward that they had to vote for. Devin Booker is registered as the guard. Are you telling me that you're putting in Devin Booker over Stephen Curry or jaw-dropper Morant? So while I understand what people are saying about Andrew Wiggins as a starter, but he should be based off his position. Now, maybe they wanted Karl Anthony Towns. Maybe you wanted Draymond Green. But both of those guys, one, health, and the other one, record and popularity. As we can see, the Golden State Warriors are going to be very well represented in this All-Star game. So will obviously the Chicago Bulls. So will, well, obviously not the New York Knicks, but I think that's about it, right? Oh, and Phoenix. Those are big fan bases we're talking about. And Brooklyn. Those are big fan bases we're talking about. So we're going to see these. So it's not surprising to see these guys get represented in the starting lineup. Right? Philly, Atlanta. So basically, let's go around it. Brooklyn, Milwaukee, but that's Giannis. Right? Chicago, Philly, Atlanta. Golden State, LA, Denver. Well, that's Nikola Jokic, MVP. John Morant, Memphis. But that's John Morant. And then Andrew Wiggins, Golden State. So Andrew Wiggins, not only has he actually really been playing at an all-star level, he has. But he also is on a popular team with a popular fan base, is going to vote their players in. Now, what we weren't privileged to until just yesterday, when we were on the air on Wednesday, we were still looking at the candidates and didn't have the final representatives. I don't know. Well, it must be the alcohol and the weed. I'm starting to fade. I ain't gonna lie. I'm starting to fade. Right, representatives for the West and East reserves. But now we do. We have one for the East. We have. Oh, can I get a? Yeah, you know what I want. You don't have it? You know what?
You're fired!
For real. Like, how you not have that shit ready, B? I know why. It's okay. It's okay. Like, I don't listen, it's good. I don't need it. Like, we'll figure something out. Like, we'll get through it. Don't even worry about it. So, and because I'm an East person, I guess I'm gonna start off with Right? I think I'm going to start off with the West first. Give you the West, and then I'll give you the East. And we'll start from top to bottom. Right? So, in the West, we have first one, Karl Anthony Towns, forward/center, whatever you want to call him, for the Minnesota Timberwolves. After that, we have CP3, point guard for the Phoenix Suns. After that, we have Spider Donovan Mitchell, guard for the Denver Nuggets. It's not Denver, then it's Utah Jazz. We got Draymond Green, forward for Golden State Warriors.
Danger zone.
Look, then we have Luka Doncic, point guard for Dallas Mavericks. And then lastly, we have Devin Booker, shooting guard, Phoenix Suns. And as I said, that is added to Andrew Wiggins, John Morant, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, and Stephen Curry. Now, as you guys know, actually, we'll talk this about a little later. And then for the East, we have one Fred VanVleet.
Danger zone.
We have one Jason Tatum. One Chris Middleton.
Danger zone.
We have Zach LaVine, James Harden, Darius Garland, and one Jimmy Butler. Now, I forgot what I was gonna say the very first time when I paused at Devin Booker, right? But as you know, the reserves aren't. Actually, nobody is. Right? East Northwest is reserved to their specific conference. What's going to end up happening is that they're going to do this playground style again. You're going to have Kevin Durant picking one team, Stephen Curry or whoever it is, Stephen Curry picking the other team, and they're going to start picking squads back and forth. First, they have to pick amongst the starters, so they have to go through Giannis, DeMar, Joel, Trash, LeBron, Jokic, Ja, and Wiggins first before they go through the reserves that I just mentioned you. Jimmy, Garland, Harden, LaVine, Middleton, Booker, Doncic, Goldberg, Draymond, Spider, Tatum, VanVleet, CP3, and Cat. Right? So they'll have to go the last after those other 8 people. Now, there are 2 individuals that I would not mind seeing them replaced for one LaMelo Ball. First one is Fred VanVleet. The other one is Chris Middleton. Now, I was also going to say Darius Garland. And I know that everybody's balling in their own right. But I couldn't put Darius Garland in there because also you need a Cleveland. You need to have your Cleveland representative. Now, we did see that Cleveland just missed out on having a second guy in there. And I would honestly say I would take Evan Mobley. Oh, whatever his first name is. But I would take Mobley and LaMelo Ball because this game is made for LaMelo Ball. Like, seriously. Look at the East. Who do they have that's a bone? Who do they have that's excited enough to push that ball and to get it above the rim to guys like Giannis, to guys like LaVine, to guys like Tatum, to guys like Gobert, to guys like Ja Morant, to guys like Karl Anthony Towns, LeBron James, to Spider. Like, how many guys are as excited as him? Like, this All-Star games are made for LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball and Mobley should have both been in this game, and I wouldn't have mind if Chris Middleton and Fred VanVleet were gone. Like, you always say, who you taking out? Who you taking out? Who you taking out? I'm taking out Fred VanVleet and Chris Middleton. The only reason part of me keeps what may keep Fred VanVleet is because maybe you want to get your Toronto representatives. But other than that, I would much rather see LaMelo and Mobley in the Eastern All-Star game except outside of VanVleet and Middleton. Now, for the West, I can't think of anybody from the West that I'd like to see. Like I said, again, it's a position thing because I think Devin Booker should be starting over LeBron James. No, I'm joking. I'm hating here. I know LeBron James has been put up like probably one of the highest averages that he's ever put up since he started playing, and he was doing that at his oldest age. That's probably why his knees are swelling up right now, because LeBron James, like I said earlier this year, and I've been saying, he's officially injury prone. And you could believe it if you want to, but LeBron James is injury prone now. When somebody has to sit down for achy knees, they're officially old and they're officially injury prone. And I know my co-host KJ, right? He didn't want to put that label on LeBron James, not quite yet, until he's seen it. Well, I hope you've seen it now. I hope you've seen it now. Injury prone LeBron James, the generous king with the rings, because on his watch he has proven time and time again, everybody gets a ring. He is like Oprah with the rings. You get a ring, you get a ring, you get a ring, you get a ring. I'll ask you once, I'll ask you twice, but I won't ask you thrice. Who has LeBron James stopped from getting a ring? Everybody has eaten on his watch. And if you want to say a couple of the guys that have made his been his peers, I don't know if he stopped them as much as was the elders that were holding him up that stopped them. Well, we'll see. I guess a few though. He didn't stop any of them. He didn't stop anybody. He didn't stop anybody. I just realized he didn't stop anybody. Everybody gets a ring on LeBron's watch. Everybody. Ow. Ow. Ooh. Okay, I'm done. Ooh. Okay, I'm done. Ooh. Okay, let's get back into this. I'm sorry. There's some songs that that they just do that little thing to you that make you go a little bit cray. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. So the draft is February 10th. Like I said, we have 6 days before that happens. 10 days after that, we have All-Star Weekend. We'll take a break. We'll have the Rising Star Game. We'll have the Skills Challenge. We're going to let you know who's going to be the candidates for that. We'll have the Slam Dunk Contest, the 3-point contest, and obviously the All-Star Game as well. Right? They'll have a celebrity game. They'll have a celebrity game going on at some point in time. Like I said, it'll be a whole entire week of extravaganza, and it's one of the weekends. That I look forward to catching. Folks, I guess we get to the point now where I guess we gotta talk football, don't we? I guess there's no way around it, right? We've talked basketball, we've talked women basketball, we talked wrestling. I guess we left with football, right? The narcissistic, fraudulent league that they are, the NFL. And what a fraudulent league they really are, aren't they? What a fraudulent league they are. Well, let's not. We'll get into that. I'm getting hungry. Let's talk about a couple of things that's been happening in the NFL, right? We've already talked about. Oh, we got Knicks Lakers tomorrow. I can't wait. We've already talked about to nauseum what happened with Brian Flores and what's going on with them, and we'll continue to address that. But there's been other little interesting stories, and like I said, I find all this thing interesting. Like, and this is Super Bowl week, right? This is a week where we really should be focusing on, like, this is Super Bowl coming to this. We should be focusing on the matchup and breaking down everything, like breaking down the offensive line and the defensive line and then the cornerbacks and the safeties and right? We should be knee deep in Super Bowl, neck deep in Super Bowl listeners by now, right? And then drown it next week. Nah, kinda a little sluggish. Tom Brady retires. Brian Flores is filing a class action lawsuit. And that, for the most part, overshines a lot of the other little things, including the Super Bowl. But one of the other little things that happened in the NFL is that Jim Harbaugh was offered another head coaching job in the NFL, or his name popped up again for another head coaching job in the NFL. And I want to say to you guys, have you not learned your lesson? Now, granted, some of us don't always learn our lesson all the time. I'm guilty of this. I fell for this when Julius Randall put up numbers in a contract year. Bing bong, I should have known that. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. I should have known it was fraudulent. Should have known it was Fugazi. Hurricane warning. Julius. Octavius. Randall. Right? So, have we not learned about Mr. Harbaugh? And that is, his name pops up every single year to get a head coaching job in the NFL. But every single time his name pops up, he never takes the job. And what he ends up doing is he leverages it for a payday from college. Have you not seen this pattern by now? Like, have you guys not seen it? Have you guys not noticed it? That every single time that his name comes up, every single time his name is mentioned, in college or in the NFL, to get an NFL job, it's like the same way that every single free agent every other year every year is tied to the New York Knicks in some way, shape, or form. And none of them ever make it to the Knicks. All it is them leveraging the Knicks to get their price up in their contract. Well, Jim Harbaugh was doing the same thing for years. Every single other year, except for a couple years ago. Remember they lowered his pay a couple years ago? He's like, okay, cool, I'll take it. I get it. I ain't beat Ohio State yet. Beats Ohio State, wins a bowl game. And then his name just isn't tied to a head coaching job. This time, he actually goes for the interview. See, before he ain't going for the interview. He was just let his name get tossed out there. What's going on, Dose? To see you. But now he goes for the interview. And then what he says, like, oh, I thought things was going to work out differently. Oh, I thought I basically had the job. Oh, this, oh, that. Like, he made like the lamest excuse on why he should have gotten the job or why he didn't take the job. And then he goes back to college, right? Very inconspicuously. And then what is the very first thing that we hear about? Oh, Jim Harbaugh gets a contract rate, not contract extension. Basically gets a contract extension. He gets a little bump in his salary. He gets a raise. Have we not learned our lesson yet? That every time that Jim Harbaugh says that he is going to the NFL, he is basically just using you and leveraging the NFL so that he can get himself a bigger payday. We fall for it every time. Now, granted, couldn't fall for it last year. Pandemic happened, a few things happened. He took a notable pay cut, sat back, and shut his mouth. And then as soon as he got back to what's slightly considered winning ways, he pulled his old stunts again, and then he got paid. And you, Michigan, fell for the okie doke again. But what's to do? What are you supposed to do? Because his name really does pop up in consideration. I guess before he wasn't interviewing, like, you never interviewed for these cities. So I was like, okay, I interviewed now. Now what you gotta say? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, is it Minnesota that's gonna get Doug Peterson as their head coach? I think it is. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't have that one readily up, and I'm trying to remember that, and I'm trying to bring that one up from memory. I don't even feel like pulling it up, to be honest with you. I don't even feel like pulling it up. Cause let's go into our next one, right? We have a little what the fuck going on. Another WTF. What WTF do we have? Washington team football. Washington team football, or the Washington whatchamacallits that we've been calling for the last 2 years, have officially gotten a new name. And their new name is... Do you have a drum roll for me? You got a drum roll for me? No drum roll? No drum roll? Okay, we'll do it. The Washington Commanders. Dukes. That was your cue. You're just missing everything right now. And the asshole in me, right? The part that always has to, like, oh, you couldn't find anything better. Because we kind of, like, one, it was already kind of leaked, right? And two, we had a list of names that they were going to go through. And not for nothing, was not surprised if they would have went with Commanders. Washington Commanders, President, stuff like that, right? Oh, so wasn't that like a Beyonce song? I'm a commander, I'm just gonna give up. I'm a commander, we're not gonna talk. I think it's something like that, right? I'm a commander. She was wearing all that commando gear, right? So Washington has come out in there to go call themselves the Washington Commanders. And automatically, I realized Washington, for somebody from New York, and for somebody that has made you the butt of jokes for a couple of years now, it won't stop. Because you've called yourself the Washington Commanders, which means that your initials are WC. And if you've traveled internationally, then you know that WC stands for the latrine, or the toilet, or the water closet. Yes, folks, your initials represents a team that should constantly get pooped on. And that is what exactly going to happen to you in your division. Ain't shit going to change. But, you know what, though? I do like it. I do like the new uniforms. I do like what I saw. Go ahead and run with it. Go ahead and build your whole new franchise. You should have been done this because, you know, let me go ahead and say this now. Which made me think, like, which I said years ago, which I couldn't understand why Washington wouldn't change their name already. They didn't want to give up this. There's so much money invested in this and a lot. You realize you change your name. If you think that you have such a loyal and big fan base, what do you think happens when you change your name? Just think what happens when you get a new player. How that player players' jersey sales go skyrocket. Well, now guess what happened to your franchise? Don't be surprised if this year coming up, we hear that Washington Commanders led the league in merchandise sales, in jersey sales. I expect them to be one of the highest, because if you had anything from the past, that is now memorabilia. And I know some people are still going to wear those until the time that they get the changeover, but that's now memorabilia. That is history that you should hold on to and not want to wear out anymore. But now all these guys are gonna get new jerseys. Just think about it. Think about every year every time you change your jersey, come up with a colorway of jersey. Think about the spike that you get. You're changing everything. This is new jersey, new socks, new shoes, new koozies, new flags, new tables, new ladders, new chairs. You understand? Like new everything, new bed sheets, new duvets, new comforters. Everything, new headbands, new t-shirts, new shorts, every shot glasses, flask, shower curtains, bathroom mats, couches, lions, tigers, and bears. All of it. You will now have command of merchandise sale for the next year or two. Like, honestly, for the next 3 years, I anticipate that the Washington Commanders should be at the top. I don't want to say top 10 in the league. They should be in the top third of the league, if not higher than that, in merchandise sales, because everybody's replenishing. I don't know why they didn't do this earlier. You would have been gotten a massive stream of revenue. But you're Washington Team Football, formerly known as the whatchamacallits, formerly known as the what the fucks, currently known as the water closets. I expect you to do dumb shit. Water closets. I can't believe it. You really are some can't get right organization. You really are can't get right organization. But speaking of can't get right organizations, we told you what's been dominating the news so far, right? With this Brian Flores thing, right? And we know that Brian Flores is his class action lawsuit is gonna be pending court case and pending, right? It's gonna be pending on a court date. What I'm hoping is that this thing really gets pushed through. But more than getting pushed through, I hope that this caught the eyes and the ears of the feds. And I hope that there is a federal investigation done on the NFL. I'm telling you, I barely even like supporting the NFL anymore, to be honest with you. I really don't like. I don't really see myself buying a lot of NFL merchandise. I'd rather buy people NBA stuff from here on out. From now on out, I'm getting you basketball stuff. Anybody. But I do love me some tailgating. Now, but as Brian Flores' story gets out there, if these things that he accused these organizations of come to light, I wonder, and I am curious, if there should start being some changes in management. And I'm looking at you, New Jersey Giants. I'm looking at you, Miami Dolphins. Miami Gardens Dolphins. I'm looking at both of those organizations, and I wonder, if these accusations that were Miami's, we're still waiting. For the Giants, I don't know if there's much waiting that needs to happen here. So treating everything as true, with these allegations that has been brought about, should Stephen Ross, John Mara, and Stephen Tisch have to sell their teams? Stephen Ross, because you're trying to bribe your staff to lose. You're bribing to lose. This is why I want an investigation. Like, isn't there a federal gaming commission? I want an investigation. I don't want this to be able to go to to try to get past, you know what I mean? To try to get passed into arbitration, or just be quietly handled in civil. No, I want a federal investigation. Because a part of me thinks that Miami Dolphins should be stripped of their team. New Jersey Giants should be stripped of their team. And like I said, for Miami, it's because you're making a mockery of sport. And when people now say, like, hey, I believe that this is rigged, you are feeding into that. And sports can't function unless people believe it's true. Because you know what you're going to do to them? And I say them. The guys that can't watch wrestling because it's fake. What you going to do now with your football? When you find out that these outcomes are fake. What now? So I wonder, does Stephen Ross need to be stripped of his team? Does John Mara and Steve Tisch need to be stripped of their team for breaking the Rooney Rule? For openly trying to just bringing in some black dude to get hired so you can get through the Rooney Rule, even though you've already given the job to somebody else. Should they get stripped for that? And if you don't have the balls to say that they should be stripped, well, what about New York Giants management? What about Brian Dable? What about their GM, Joe Shane? What about them two? If they weren't hired by using proper protocol, should they be able to keep their jobs? I don't think they should. I think the New York Giants should be getting new owners, a new GM, and a new coach. I think the Miami Dolphins should be getting a new owner. We don't have a lot of time left here on the podcast. I don't think I'm going to save my last football questions for Friday. Oh, sorry, today's Friday. I'll save them for Monday. I'll save them for Monday when we return. As you guys already know, when we return on Monday, we'll be doing your favorite Monday 7, which is the tea of the weekend, where we go ahead and we highlight all of the interesting stories from this past weekend, folks. We do mean all stories, like however how big or how small, we will touch upon them on Monday. Not only that, folks, we'll be getting into this week of Knicks game where the New York Knicks will be ending this week by taking on the LA Lakers on Saturday. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that on Monday as well. We'll also start getting into these two teams that are involved in the Super Bowl coming up next Sunday, folks. Because yes, folks, we are just about 8 days away from Super Bowl Sunday. Can you feel it in the air? If you can feel it in the air, I want you to go ahead and hop on that cloud and go ahead and ride that wave until you catch that wave until it never subsides. You know what you said? Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think everything is kicking in. Then the allergy pills, the alcohol, the weed, they're starting to kick in. So, DJ MyT, do me one last favor before we let go of everybody. Play my outro so I can start rambling.
Sorry, B. I tried.
Let me know how you like the new background.
All the bandwidth in the world couldn't keep me contained. No lag. Gonna share my talents with Podbean Live. Always knew I'd take the pod there. Just a lot later than a lot of listeners thought.
YouTube.
Last of the real gabbers.
Finally, yeah.
Well,
And
maybe not the last. Munchkin
Got how
got
small
good
this
mic
is.
skills. New, improved MyT podcaster. Potting down now.
Wait, get me off camera. Get me off camera.
Last call for
I'm a fucking
drinks.
fool.
Bars closing. Sun's out. Heard the casino got a buffet breakfast. Don't wanna go far. Wild night. Tired, B. Tired. MyT!
Sports.